1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Right. Maybe catch the arse out of that.
We've got plenty of numbers to go.
Me and Chippy were in sync there. It was you that was out.
Hello, and welcome back to the Big Bad Bike Show. My name's Sam Macaulay, I'm your host, and joining me tonight, as always, is the Up North biker, Ash Hall.
Hello there!
And of course, making it a full set, it's Chris Chippy Ballard.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. We're recording this a little bit later this week. We'll go into the details in a bit. It's Thursday, it's the 14th of June. It should be half 8, but it's Wednesday. Wow, right. I'm editing on Thursday, that's what it is. It should be half 8, but it's going on 9 o'clock. Issues, problems. First world problems, of course. If you're listening to this on YouTube, you can hit the like button, the notification bell. You'll never miss an episode. You can subscribe and see all the gnarly stuff that we get up to, if you really want to do that. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify or even Google, get in touch and let us know. We appreciate that, don't we, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
We really do.
Do you want to give us a rundown, Ash, of what's coming up in the show?
Yeah, so coming up in the show, it's as usual, the all-new Who Am I? That's going to be read out by Chippy this week. We'll be looking back at the MotoGP before we round up on what happened to the rest of the Isle of Man TT. And making predictions for this weekend's MotoGP, the Sachsenring and BSB at Knockhill.
I'm sure we'll hear plenty about BSB and Knockhill.
Oh yes,
you two are like children talking about it.
Yeah, we are. I'm really excited.
I'm really excited.
Must be, yeah.
We're going on holiday.
But before we go any
Sam
further,
isn't.
Yeah, I'm not going. Before we go any further, we at the Big Bad Bike Show, we would like to send our condolences to the family and friends of Raul Torres Martinez. We're really sorry for the loss. He passed away in an accident in the first Super Twin race at the TT. We're not going to break it like news or talk about it like news, because obviously anybody that likes bikes and has listened to this podcast already knows about it, I'm sure. So we just wanted to drop in our condolences and just say sorry for your loss, and just appreciate the fact that somebody like him is willing to put his leg over a bike and ride around the TT for our entertainment. And
absolutely, yeah. It's an awful thing to happen, but I'm sure he went doing what he loves. So yeah, like you said, cheers for participating and making the TT what it is.
Yeah. Right. We crack on with the show then.
Yeah, let's crack on. So what have you been up to, Chippy?
You know what I've been up to. I've not been very well. I honestly thought I was dying last night. Cause
he's got the 2 bob bits.
You know what I'm like with a hangover? Well, that's how I know what you're like with a hangover. I was kind of just over the toilet like, please just get out of me.
I was sitting in the toilet today and I was thinking about all the different ways of calling it. Like, you got the two bob bits, the tan tits. We call it the skitter, the shits, the runs.
The cat.
Yes.
Can you think of anything else? Any other ways of explaining the fact that you've got shit running down your leg?
Yes. It hasn't been
diarrhea.
Yes.
Oh, we used to sing a little song. Me and my brother used to sing a little song. It's like, when it's running down your right leg like a soft-boiled egg, diarrhea. Diarrhea.
We used to sing. Me and my brother used to sing something similar.
I'm going back years thinking about that.
Yeah, I am as well.
I completely forgot about that. That just popped into my mind like one of them memories from way yonder. Jesus. Fucking hell.
So apart from having the 2 bob bits, Chippy, what have you been up to?
Well, I was going to say, I'm glad my illness has given you some amusement.
It does actually.
Yes.
Yes. But no, apart from that, I haven't really done a lot. Been back at work. My flowers have grown. I've got some heads on some that I planted in the front garden, but I can't remember what it was I planted now. But they look very nice and they're pink. But I don't know what they were.
You just pretend you're some sort of gardener.
No.
My sunflowers are growing very nice.
You don't even know what plants you've planted. You don't
no,
even know
I can't remember. I binned the little tags that you put in the little trays. So I can't remember what it was.
Doesn't seem like a good idea now, does it?
It might be chrysanthemums, but I don't think it is. I did plant some of them, but I can't remember. Anyway, this isn't a gardening podcast. Right. What has Ash been up to? You're boring,
Ash. What have you been up to?
Not a lot really, just work. Nice short week this week though, just 3 days. So today's the start of the holiday. Shut up. Because me and Chippy are getting ready to go to Knockhill for the BSP, and I honestly this week I've just been like giddy, really giddy. Can't wait.
You are such a child.
I cannot wait.
Such a child. You are a child. You're the man child.
Yeah, well, you know this. I mean, I've got a freaking Star Wars sleeve, for Christ's sakes. You know I'm a man-child. You know this. But yeah, I've been really, really, really looking forward to it, and I just can't wait. And also, I'm even more giddy because me and my dad have booked the ferry to go to the Isle of Man TT next year, and I cannot wait for that. Cannot wait. So, very excited about that. And I may even
for a ferry crossing.
May even go to Cadwell Park this year to test out all my camping gear, because I will be camping for, I think it's 13 days or 13 nights in the Isle of Man, so I need to test it out. So I may even go to Cadwell Park this year for the BSB. So yeah, that's all I've been up to. Sam,
yeah,
what have you been up to?
Yeah, I've not been up to very much. I've driven the length and breadth of this country once again, just driving, just working. That's pretty much it. That's all I've done this week. It's one of the reasons why, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why we're recording a bit later, because work got in the way, and I had to drive trucks. But
is that why you're wearing a white vest? Has he got egg down it?
No, he's pretending to be Bruce Willis. He's got a white vest up on, and somewhere he's got a can of Stella, I'm sure.
It's not Stella, it is Birra Moretti.
you look like such a chaff.
Coming from somebody with a Star Wars tattoo, get the fuck.
And a Star Wars t-shirt. Yeah. Star Wars and bikes is life.
Yeah, I've not really been up to very much. Said last week that I impulse buy, went and bought myself a jerry can from Amazon, little 10 litre jerry can.
Yeah, that was funny.
Well, I accidentally ordered 2. So now I've got 2 jerry cans.
And they're still empty?
No, one of them's half full of petrol, because I went and put petrol in it and I filled up my bike. So I used it.
So you drove in your car to the petrol station, filled it with petrol, and then came back and put it in your bike?
Well, I had to go there anyway because I was taking my car to get diesel, and I thought, while I'm doing that, I'll get some petrol into my jerry can, then I can put it into my bike. See, that way I don't have to ride my bike to the petrol station and use more petrol.
Next time you ride your bike, wouldn't you have just filled up anyway?
Yeah, I would have, but you see, I've done this thing where I was being really lazy, and it just kept because I now knew I had the jerry cans, and I was like, I'll just ride my bike to work, and it's got to the stage where I don't even know if I'll make it to the...
Right.
I don't even know if I'll make it to the garage.
Is Chippy playing on Simpsons again?
No, I'm looking at the document, actually.
Oh, right, yeah.
Something that you haven't done.
Now that I've got 2 jerry cans, that's one little piece of admin I don't have to do whenever I get a bigger bike and go to track days, because you want to take some petrol away to track days because they charge you a fortune, apparently.
You know what you want to do, don't you, with one of the jerry cans? Make your own wine. Put some wine in it.
Or fill it full of... Yeah, I was thinking booze. As soon as you said that, I was thinking, this has to be about booze. Do something with booze. Put booze in it.
Moonshine.
I could take it to a festival and be like, mate, it's diesel or something from a car in case I run out. It could really be. And then they'd see me chugging out of it and be like, Jesus, that guy's swigging diesel. Yeah! Just methylated spirits. Anyway,
very good.
That's enough talking absolute nonsense about what we got up to, because nobody cares what we got up to. And this week we've actually got a little bit of feedback. We've got emails. Yeah, baby. It's one of them episodes where we actually feel like a proper podcast.
Yeah.
Right, this first one is from a guy called King Robo. Or Robo? King Robo?
Oh,
Yobbo.
I think I know who this guy is.
Yes, King Yobbo.
No. King Yobbo, but he says Robo.
Yes, but he's a
King
Yobbo.
Robo, right. King Robo has written and he said, "What's up with it, vanilla faces?" He says, "Chris, you drone on so bad, it makes me wish I could rip off my earlobes and shove them into my ear holes. However, I've always been appreciative of the two-wheeled crotch rocket. Big fan of MotoGP, Isle of Man TT, and even been to watch British Superbikes at Thruxton many moons ago. As a car enthusiast," this is kind of a question, but I thought it was kind of feedback as well. "As a car enthusiast, I'm now looking to expand my idiocy on the road with a motorcycle. Obviously, I'm not going to go for an R1 or similar straight up, but any recommendations for a beginner bike or bikes to look for when inevitably ending up with a big bike license, or a bike license? Leaning, motorbike cornering puns towards superbike style bikes." And then he says, "Anyway, keep droning on. I'll pretend to be interested in the rest of the podcast once this question has been read out. Keep it up, you pair of nuts buckets." Muchas gracias, King Robo.
Yes.
It's alright, King Robo. By the time you listen to this, it will have already registered as a listen, so we will still get you down as a listener. So that's fine.
Well, the thing is with
Right,
Yobbo is obviously don't know him personally, but I know that he's into his cars and he's had a lot of like Fiestas that he's really souped up and that, and he wants everything really fast. So it doesn't surprise me he wants something towards superbike style. But yeah, he buys like stupid.
Thing is,
fast
if he
cars
wants
and then-
something superbike style, and I mean, if he wants something fast, then he needs to get a superbike. So he needs to get an R1 or a ZX10R.
Yeah, so I think what he means is, by his email, King Robo, please write in and tell me if I'm reading this wrong, but I think by his email what he says is, in the future, maybe 2 or 3 years, 4 years down the line or whatever, maybe he will get an R1 or a Fireblade or similar, but now he wants to ride a bike, but he doesn't want to look like a cock. He doesn't want to be a 38-year-old man that rides about in a Yamaha YBR 125.
Yeah.
Who would do that? He doesn't want to be that guy.
Well, if he was looking for a super bike style, like, which is obviously not a super bike, I would look at possibly going for like something like a CBR 600F or even a Kawasaki ZX6R, because it's a 600cc. So it's not going to be as quick as a 1000cc bike, but he'll still get thrills out of it, get used to it, and then upgrade.
One I was thinking about is one that's been recommended to me quite a lot. It's not like a sporty superbike style bike, but it's not like a touring bike either. It's been recommended. I think you've recommended it a few times as well. It's like the Suzuki Bandit.
Yeah. So the Suzuki Bandit
I know it's
is
not.
more.
I know it's not a superbike style, but I think for a first bike, if you've just passed your lesson in the first bike, you put your leg over that, you turn the throttle, you're going to go.
Yeah. So a Suzuki Bandit or a Honda Hornet, which is pretty much just the Honda's version of a Bandit, absolutely would recommend as a first bike. But if he's wanting the styling of a super bike, then I would probably recommend the CBR 600F or the ZX6R or even a GSXR 600, possibly Suzuki. So you got them options. I'd definitely go Japanese anyway.
I'd go Suzuki personally. I quite like the Suzukis.
Yeah, but the only thing is with
like a
Suzuki
Jetster
riders,
600?
I don't want to diss. I don't really want to diss Suzuki riders, but I'm kind of going to. So, people that ride Gixxers tend to go up to a bike meet and come over to your bike, and they'll look at your back tire and go, "Ha, you've got like a strip at the side of your tire because you don't lean it over all the way." That's what Gixxer riders are like most of the time.
So they think they're better than other riders. Is that what you're saying?
A lot of the time, the ones I've met, yeah. And I do have people that will back me up on this. But obviously, not saying he's going to be like that, you know. But
whatever you get, Yobbo, please don't be a yob on it. Just be sensible.
I wouldn't recommend the Yamaha R6 straight off the bat, because that isn't much slower than the R1. To be honest, it's it's probably the quickest out of the 600s, I'd say.
What I would recommend, not that I've done it, but I'm going to do it as soon as I pass my license. The guy I work with, friend of mine, he's got a Gexer, but he's got a Gexer 600. But
I thought he had a 750.
No, it's a different one. So I'm talking about a different mate. But he went to Cadwell Park on a track day, him and a couple of mates, and they had a GoPro and they took videos of it, and it looked absolutely amazing. And he was explaining it to me about how you get 20 minutes within the hour. You go they go first, then the moderates go second, then the experienced go third. You get 7 runs in total. You get a break during halfway through the day. And I was like, fuck this, as soon as I get a bike, he's like, you don't need it, go on your 125. And I was like, no, I'm not taking my 125. As soon as I get a decent, as soon as I do my test, as soon as I do my test and get a decent bike, I definitely want to get booked in a track day. It looks absolutely class. So King Yobbo, get yourself, if you want to go fast, get yourself onto a track day. Judging by how you like cars, I'm sure you'll be up for it.
Yes, keep it on the track, don't do it on the
road.
Who
knows? Maybe we could all get together and have a big bad bike show track day. Maybe we could do that.
Can I just suggest, Sam? I know you've just said when you pass your test you're going to get straight on the track. I would suggest getting used to the bike first before you go on the track.
Well, surely the track's the best place to get used to the bike.
Well, I think it's better just to have a bit of just normal road experience first. You need to work out where your speed and your power band is before you go on the track, really.
Well, I'm not going to buy the bike and go straight to the track, Ash, obviously.
That's what you
said.
said.
Wait a week or two.
I won't ride it for a week or two, and then I'll just go to the track.
We got another bit of feedback. It's more of a discussion topic. It's from our long-time listener, Harvey. So I think he's realised that young Ashley's trying to lose some weight. So we're all using MyFitnessPal. So he's put on here, how to boil chicken. He's given you a little...
How to boil chicken?
This is...
how to boil chicken.
This is actually...
I know how to boil chicken.
This is aimed at me because this was a discussion not long ago about... because I eat just plain chicken sometimes.
Oh, I like how Sam thought it was all to do with me because I'm losing weight.
Well, we were talking about. Well, I'm not privy to the conversations that Chippy has with our listeners in his own private.
Yeah, you just assumed Fat Boy needs boiled chicken.
No, I just assumed it because we were talking about MyFitnessPal last week, and you wanting to lose weight. That maybe that's what he was referencing to. That's what I assumed. I think that was a pretty good assumption to make. Anyway, he said, my method is simple and straightforward. Just cover the chicken with about an inch of water and bring it to the boil. Lower the heat until the water is simmering, cover the pot and let the chicken cook. That's it. Now, I'm going to be honest. We've went 16 episodes without me having to mention the fact that I'm a vegetarian, right? That's out there. I'm a vegetarian. Send me your fucking hate mail. I don't care. Anyway, as someone who ate meat until he was like 25, I cannot think of anything fucking worse than dried boiled chicken. That sounds horrible. Doesn't it, Ash? Sounds terrible. Boiled chicken.
It'd probably be healthier the way you're cooking it, I suppose.
It'd be alright if you boiled it with a load of spices. Like if you put a load of spices and stuff in.
I've got an emergency right there.
Basically what I'm talking about not boiled chicken, I'm talking making chicken curry, that's right.
Oh, right, okay.
I haven't plugged my laptop in. Wait. I've got an emergency.
Did you have to say all this? Could you not have just done it?
No, I've got an emergency.
Right.
I haven't plugged it in.
Don't react.
Problem solved. But now it's going to pick up the fan. So if I try and put it...
So what happened was, I genuinely thought, Chippy, you were having to go for a shite. I thought, what happened? I thought you had to go for a shite. I was like, Chippy has to go for a shite.
Code brown.
I didn't plug my laptop in.
We've been going for well over 15 minutes.
Yeah, and we haven't even spoke about bikes yet, really.
So, should we go on to the Who Am I?
Let's get on to the Who Am I. And the Who Am I this week was mine. So I'm going to read out the...
last week. Who am I last week?
Sorry, last week. Soz. I'll read out the clues and I'll read out the answer as well. So, I was born in Swindon. Nickname is Spud. And currently ride in the BSB. Did anybody guess it?
Yes, it was very easy.
Yeah. Two people got it right. They were Babsy and Harvey.
Nice. And the answer was Charlie Nesbitt.
Yeah. And notice how on there I didn't say Big Dazza.
Where's Big Dazza?
Said he couldn't find it this week. Couldn't get it.
Yeah!
He obviously had problems with Googling it as well. I don't know if it was an easy one to Google. Like, you just have to Google... You basically just have to Google who's nicknamed Spud and BSB, but if you don't find it, you can't. It's not the easy one to get. But yeah, completely stumped Big Dazza. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, mate. Next time, get in there if you can. None of us know what Chippy's... yeah, thanks very much to Babsy and to Harvey for continually getting involved. Class. Yeah, Chippy hasn't given us any clues yet. He's just gonna...
Yes, right.
Yeah, because... I don't want Ash to cheat. I don't cheat.
You do, because every time I put it on there, you're like, oh, is it him?
Just shut your mouth and get the Who Am I done so we can talk about bikes.
You got here. I'm not putting it in the doc, so Ash can't Google it beforehand to pretend he knows who it is in my notes. Ash never reads the doc anyway, so I reckon you're safe enough. Actually, I do. Ash just put on there. That was a
yes, I
do. Yeah, but you still weren't prepared for the questions. Right, so
my Who Am I? The first clue. I was born in France in 1982. The second clue, I've competed in MotoGP, World Superbikes and BSB, winning one championship. I'm not saying which championship. In 2021, I was part of the team that won the Endurance World Championship.
I think I know who it is.
It's not a difficult one. It's not very vague.
I think I know who it is.
Go on, message me and I'll let you know if you're right. Don't put it in the chat. Just
I'll have to have a thinky poo.
That means I
may be wrong about this. I'm just going to give you who I think it is. And excuse the spelling.
Well, if you'd already... no, it's wrong.
No, is that not it?
That's not it.
Okay, I'll have to think. I just come into my head because I was thinking born in 1982 because I was born in 85, so I was thinking similar age to me. They've won a championship. It could have been World Superbikes, British Superbikes, or MotoGP. Well, I know I'm going to help the listeners here, but I'm also trying to figure this one out. He's born in France. I could probably go back plenty of years to think about who won British Superbike, or maybe not so much British Superbikes, but I could go back and I can work out who's won definitely MotoGP, because if he's a similar age to me, that means he wouldn't have won the MotoGP until he's at least 21, 22, and that's young. So 21, 22, you're talking 2000s, and that's whenever Rossi was round, and there's been no French winners since then, so it's not MotoGP. I know I'm helping the listeners here, but I'm trying to figure it out myself.
Yeah, well, let them have a little figure it out.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah. Come on,
they all like bikes as much as we do. That's why they listen. Why would they listen to our show?
That's why they listen.
Right, I'll not help them anymore. That's just my thinking.
Well, that's the end of the Who Am I. If you would like to contact us,
message me.
Oh, God, it's alright, just fucking interrupt me as usual, Chippy, you absolute nonce.
Sam can just mute me. You can keep talking, he can just mute me in the edit. Anyway, carry on.
That's fine, no.
If you edited once in a while, you'd understand this.
Right, so, if you do, because Ash is throwing a strawberry, so I'll do it for him. If you do want to get in contact and let us know who you think the Who Am I is, or if you've Googled it, you can let us know, that's fine. It's whatever. If you do want to get in touch, get involved, you can email us at podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk. I am so glad, or not glad, I wish this show was live. God, it's so much I wish this show was live. Oh, jeez. Should we explain to the listeners why we're all laughing?
Yeah, basically, Chippy just flashed his dick at us.
So, I don't know if it was an attempt to try and put me off, but I started flashing his nipple, and then Chippy thought he'd go one more, just flashed his nuts. Yeah. I know your mum's listened to this show.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if my mum listens. Mum, if you listen, or Ma, as I'd call her, if you listen, send me an email.
Even my dog's like, was that Chippy's dick?
Yeah, so if you want to get if you do want to get in contact, just send us an email, podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk. And as you can see, you don't have to take it too seriously because we absolutely do not. Have you ever listened to other motorbike podcasts? They take everything so seriously. They're like, "Oh, yes, we're so professional." Then we're just like, "Yeah, whatever, just flash your dick, give me fuck."
Oh
right.
God!
Right, let's get serious now.
Yeah.
Let's leave it the news.
Starting with British Superbikes, McCam's Yamaha announced that they've parted ways with Tim Neve for personal reasons. They haven't announced a replacement rider yet, but I was hoping it was going to be Taz McKenzie for this weekend, especially as it's Knockhill. But has anybody got any suggestions of who it might be filling in for the rest of the season? I mean, I put Richard Cooper and Tom Taparis. They were just, a couple of names. I was then thinking Franco Bourne. I don't know who else.
I'll be honest, I'm not really sure who it would be, to be honest. But they must have somebody in mind if they've.
Tom Sykes.
Rid of him.
Not Tom Sykes.
Chuck Tom Sykes on it.
No,
Be right.
I'm not with Tom Sykes.
But yeah, there's nobody really that jumps out to mind.
Who did you say? Richie Cooper? No, he's
got his FHO connections.
But I imagine if he had wanted to ride in British Superbikes, he would have one already. You know what I mean? He would have one. I think he wants to do the BMW 900 Cup.
Yeah.
He was at I know we were going off topic. He was at Northwest, and I was really surprised he didn't go to the TT, or he wasn't at the TT, or if he was, I didn't hear about him. But anyway, no, I'm not really sure who would get to replace that at Yamaha.
Yeah, then I was also wondering long term who'd replace him, and then I just put Scott Reddin ? But I don't think it'd be him.
Rack.
No, Scott Reddin.
I'd love Scott
Is that
Reddin.
British Superbikes?
Yeah, British Superbikes.
Scott Reddin's not going to go to British Superbikes.
Well, they said that before when he came from MotoGP, and he did. I'd love him to come back. I thought he was brilliant at British Superbikes.
No, I know that, but he's not going to go. He's not going to go halfway through the season.
No, he wouldn't go now. But I mean, more long term at the end of the season, when contracts and that are up for renewal.
No, we'll talk about Scott Reddin and silly season. I like what I read later on. I like that.
Anyway,
no, I'm not really sure. To be honest, British Superbikes. I don't want to be looked down in British Superbikes, but British Superbikes is a sort of championship where it takes young riders or riders from. It's as easy for riders to move down to British Superbikes from the world level, but it's just as easy for riders to move up that we've not heard of. So it could be somebody fresh and exciting and new, shiny and new, fresh like a virgin.
Anyway, the next bomb. After Alvaro Bautista won the 2022 World Superbike Championship, he requested a MotoGP bike to see how it would compare. It has now been granted, and he will test the Ducati GP23 next week at Misano.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I like how it says he requested a test. I can honestly imagine Bautista walking into a meeting and being like, "I'm going to retire." "Oh, we don't want you to retire." "Then I want a test." Imagine that happen. "What can we get you to stay?" Let me ride the. Is it the Desponent? What do they call it?
Yeah, I know the word. It's very long.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Despontini or Despona.
I don't know if they're going to do what Yamaha did with Toprak, kind of like let him have a go just to prove that he's not good enough for it.
No, I was reading up on it in Crash.net, where I get most of my motorbike news.
Yeah, same.
And but the sounds of things, we know Bautista's getting on about it. He's had his go in MotoGP. He's doing really well in the World Superbikes. I don't think either party, either Ducati or Bautista, is coming into this test with any sort of aspirations of Bautista going into MotoGP wildcard or otherwise. I don't think either of them's doing that. I genuinely think Ducati are like, look, here you go, have a go, have some fun, this is your reward. And I think Batista's walking into it in the same way, thinking, this is class, I get to ride Desmond Chetty, I think that's what it's called, I get to ride the Ducati 2023 bike, not even the old 2022 bike, the 2023 bike. Like, so he just gets to have a go on it.
Yeah.
And even if he was to absolutely kill it and just smash it round any test, if they say to him, do you want to come in wildcard, there's a good chance he would say no. You know what I mean? But
no, he's doing well enough for World Supers. Really, I
don't think any of them are walking into that with any sort of desire to make any sort of contract. That's my own personal opinion. I think it's safe to say that in the Big Bad Bike Show we don't have a fucking clue what we're talking about. So don't take my word as gospel.
This is
only a couple of weeks.
What if? This is the what if show.
Yes.
It was only a couple of weeks ago I was saying that I honestly think he should get a go in MotoGP just to show what he would have been capable of if he had been in a proper bike. But
I'd rather see him wildcard on the factory Ducati than that Pirro, though. I think it'd be more exciting to watch because Pirro's just happy rolling around in 15th or whatever. I think Bautista will try and prove a point. Yeah, so I'd rather watch him wildcard.
But the thing is with Ducati and Bautista and the British Superbikes, if he continues the way he's going, he will be far enough ahead in the championship that he could just completely miss a whole round of British Superbikes. He could miss all 3 races and still have a comfortable lead. And he could go and do a MotoGP test, and he could test during a World Superbike race, and he could then go to a MotoGP race and have a go, and then go back to World Superbikes and still be ahead. Yeah, because he's so far ahead in points. Yeah, he's like what, off the top of my head without looking at it, he's at least 90 points ahead of Top Rack, at least, probably more than that. I think he was 80 something points ahead going into the last round, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not entirely sure.
Is it 14 out of 15 races he's won, isn't it? So yeah, he's got quite a big gap. Next bit of news.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
Joan Mir won't be riding at the Sachsenring as he is injured. Repsol Honda won't be replacing him, which I thought was a bit strange because usually Stefan Bradl, I mean, he's probably ridden the bike more than Marc Marquez over the last few years. I thought
it surprises me that they haven't even asked Lecuona to come back.
Yeah, I thought they'd have 2 bikes running.
Yeah, I thought that at least have somebody riding it. It's data at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, and they need it.
I think Honda has just run out of parts. Between Mir and Marquez, I think they've just run out of parts. The Honda garage in Japan is like, we don't have any bits left. It's just crashed everything.
That could be a reason. That could be a reason they don't want to put the bike round just in case somebody else comes off it and having to repair it once again.
Like I said that way a bit of a joke, but looking at it, they're maybe thinking financially this year has been an absolute disaster, and there's absolutely no way we're not going to gain anything from putting anybody in the bike. Really, we're not going to gain anything that'll make any inroads this year, and we're not competing for anything. So why risk crashing another bike? Why build a bike?
Yeah.
Or maybe
probably.
maybe they just couldn't get any sort of short-term contract sorted in time. Who knows? But Joan Mir missing, he's having such a bad season.
Yeah.
Him and Quartararo.
Terrible season. Quartararo's having a bad season, but it pales in comparison to how bad Joan Mir's
I get what you're saying.
It is, like, Franco Morbidelli's not having a great season, but he just looks around and he goes, well, I'm not having that bad a season.
Yeah.
Scott Reddin's having a bad season in BMW. He just looks at Joan Mir and thinks, well, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus.
But like I said, who would have thought that Yamaha and Honda would be having such freaking problems? Out of them, they've always been the ones to beat, and now they're just
but are Yamaha and Honda, are they having problems, inverted commas? Are they having problems, or has Ducati just made such an inroad? They've just got so far. They're just making them look.
I think that's.
I mean, that could be it. And now, obviously, Yamaha and Honda are trying to catch up on quick time.
But Yamaha, if I'm right in saying, the MotoGP, they're the only bike that's inline 4? Is that correct? Or the rest of them are inline 4 and they're the only bike that's V4?
Yeah, so the Ducatis are all V4.
Yeah, so every other bike in the grid's V4 apart from Yamaha. They're the only one that's inline 4.
There was Suzuki last
sure
year. They were in line 4 as well.
Yeah.
But they're not there now. So I think Yamaha is the only bike on the grid that's inline 4. And there's even talk about them saying, do you think it would help if you went V4? But then if they go V4, they've got to change everything and retest. And
it's like the whole design principle, though, isn't it? They've always been in line 4. I don't
whenever you say inline 4, you say inline 4, V4. I hadn't a clue what the fuck. Well, obviously, I know what inline and V is. I know that. But when it comes to performance and power and how that changes, I didn't know. I hadn't a clue. All I know is Yamaha's different from the rest and their bike's shite. So maybe they should try and fucking toe the line, Yamaha, eh?
Yeah.
But then it's not helping Honda much, is it?
No.
I'm scratching. You know what comes after a scratch? A sniff.
Oh, you dirty bastard. Right, let's get on to the next point before I throw up.
I'm struggling to read this now.
Next thing he'll be doing is sticking his finger up his arse and giving that a sniff.
You've never done that?
Is Jensen still asleep? You may as well go and just act like a dog.
Oh, don't tell me you've never been lying on the sofa, giving yourself a good scratch and felt the necessity to sniff your fingers afterwards.
No.
Oh, then you're not a real man.
Well, I am.
Not a real man.
I'm not a fucking monkey like you two.
I am. No, I play this game with my wife called Scratch and Sniff, where I scratch and see if I can get a sniff in before she realises.
You dirty bastard. Anyway, come on, next news point. Another bong, as you
next
say.
Next bit of news. Rory Skinner will miss the next 2 races after subsequent scans in Italy revealed a fracture to a bone in his right foot. Carlos Tato will stand in for Rory while he recovers with the aim of returning for his home round at Silverstone. Now, I changed that slightly. It did say for a fracture, and then it said like this really complicated word for this bone, so I just changed it to a bone because I couldn't pronounce it.
The only bone in the foot I can think of is the metatarsal.
Yeah, it's not that one.
Which became
Hold on,
famous
Chippy.
that time.
Are you telling me that you, Chippy, the walking dictionary, cannot pronounce a word?
Well, I can't pronounce that word.
Ah, well.
It's probably in Greek or something.
To be fair, it's only 5 letters long. Talus? Talus? T-A-L-U-S.
Well, talus.
Talus. Talus bone.
Talus.
I don't know what part of your foot that is. But yes, anyway, he's going to be injured until Silverstone. Hopefully he'll be back for Silverstone, because that would be nice to see him there.
Yeah.
Who's Carlos Tate?
He's been in Moto3 for the last few years, but I think this year he's gone to, might be like European Super Sport or something like that. I'm not sure. He's not in that paddock anymore anyway.
He's not in the world scene.
And
well,
then
that
just
sucks for Rory Skinner.
Yes. And then I was just going to make just a last quick note. It's not really news, so don't bother putting a bong in. Lee Johnson has posted an update video on his Instagram about how he's doing. I did only watch it just before we started recording. It's nice to see him on video just talking about how he is. But yeah, it's just going on there and having a watch of it, because it's just nice to see him.
Yeah.
So.
And then at the end of the video, he says that he doesn't want people to think he's a whinging bastard. And I thought, judging what you've just been through, you can fucking, you can whinge as much as you want. Nobody will think anything bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of the news.
Right. Cool. Will we get... This looks really bad. Will we get on to MotoGP?
Yes. Qualifying.
So qualifying, I didn't watch any of.
Brilliant.
Sorry,
Class.
I was.
So good to have you on the show, Ash. So good to
I
have
caught
you.
everything else but the qualifying.
Well, it was good. It was just that one incident at the end, really. What did you make of it, Sam?
I had to catch up in the qualifying, as you know, because I was stuck in a hotel somewhere in the UK. Not telling you where, but somewhere in the UK. Stuck in a hotel with my shit internet, trying to watch the qualifying, and yeah, the bit that stuck out to me at the most was whenever Bagnaia was out trying to do a hot lap, and he seemingly, inverted commas, got held up by Marc Marquez, and he went mental. His arm was flying. He was giving it all this like. Under his visor, he's like, what the fuck are you doing, getting him away? And I watched it back, and like, I'm not the biggest Marc Marquez fan. Like, I'm not Ash, but I'm not the biggest Marc Marquez fan. But Ash, you hate him.
I don't hate him.
I genuinely watched it. And I thought, for the life of me, cannot see what Marquez done wrong. I don't know what he done wrong. Like, yes, he might have been in the way, but there's just sometimes when you can't help but be where you are. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, at the end of the day, I'm riding a bike. I might not be going as fast as I can, but I'm riding a bike, and there's certain safety issues where I just can't do what you want me to do, get out your way in time. So, and he ended up getting pole position anyway.
Yeah. I thought Bagnaia made a bit of a tit of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought maybe, I was looking at it and I was like, the pressure's getting to that man. He's getting to him. He just needs to calm down.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously.
And also, I think he only really waved his arms because it was Marc Marquez. If it was somebody like Zarco, he wouldn't have bothered waving his arms. I think he just thought it was Marc Marquez. Everybody will be on my side if I get angry with him. So, yes. But he got pole position anyway.
Do you think moving at that speed, doing them sort of speeds on the bike, that you've got the time to think about that? Marc Marquez?
Maybe. Well, I don't know. I mean, that was fast as well. That straight in Mugello.
Yeah. We don't travel at them speeds, so we don't really know what they're going through.
Yes. Something I do just want to quickly say, actually, about qualifying is, MotoGP, you do this thing where you can predict the pole position time, and if you get it, then you can win like a sign watch by the pole sitter. I was 0.003 of a second out on my prediction. I am raging I didn't win a watch. 0.003 of a second. Raging. Anyway, just thought I'd drop that in.
And I think, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure that it was the first week in a very long time. I can't remember the time frame, but I think it's a very long time that Quartararo didn't make Q2, which is quite significant because he just seems to be getting worse and worse.
Yes.
Which I don't know if that's like, I look at. Right, I don't know what sort of direction we're taking with the MotoGP here, but I'm just going to go on a tangent. I look at the likes of Honda. Honda's all over the place. This is what I do. I just go on tangents. Honda's all over the place. They're obviously not in a good place. But Marquez can ride the wheels off it, and if he held back a bit just to finish the race, he could probably get 6th, 7th, and if everything went for him right in a race, he could maybe get top 5. And I think even in the right scenario, he could be challenging for a win, especially in a sprint race. Because he's an amazing rider.
Yes.
Yeah.
The GOAT.
And I know Quartararo's a really good rider. But what's he doing at Yamaha? Come on, he must be able to get more out of it than what he's doing.
No, I think Yamaha's got big problems.
I think it's Yamaha.
Yeah. I'd say it's 90% the bike.
But then where does Quartararo go from Yamaha? If he was to go.
But why is it so bad though? How's it got to this stage that's so bad? Not having a satellite team probably doesn't help, because that'd be an extra 2 riders you could get feedback from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It's like I say, Honda are having similar problems by the looks of it. It's just one of them.
Thing is, with Marc Marquez, he's always said with Honda, they win together and they lose together. So I think Quartararo just needs to stay with Yamaha and try and develop the bike and try and get through the problems together.
It's all right. It's all right for Marquez to say we won together. I'm not dissing Marquez because obviously he's put the work in, he's put the effort in. But it's all right now for him to say we win together, we lose together, when he was winning.
Yeah.
And he's won like 6 championships with them. So he can say that. So he's almost got that loyalty with Honda because Honda's like, we got you 6 championships, and he's like, I got you 6 championships. You know, that mutual loyalty with each other. Whereas Quartararo's like, I've won. Well, arguably he should have won 2 championships, maybe.
Yes.
Because he lost it that year. Bagnaia won it, but he still looks back and it's like, where's the loyalty there? I've won 1 championship. I'm not exactly a Yamaha legend, am I? Like,
still a world champion though.
But if he was to go to KTM and won 2 championships with KTM, would you look back in his history and say he's a Yamaha rider or a KTM rider?
Yeah, I suppose.
You know what I mean? So I just mean that no matter what Marquez does, he'll always be known as that Honda rider, not that Honda rider, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honda rider. I'm just saying that loyalty to Yamaha is not necessarily there because he's only won 1 championship with them.
Only.
Yes.
Yeah, only. I say only. It's not only, but
yes.
You know what I mean?
But anyway,
I'm just going to look at the standings. Just while I look at the standings and see.
While you do that, should we move on to the sprint race? Because Ash did watch this.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of rain just after it started, which I thought that was going to be mental because it's bad. It's mental enough as it is, but then if you got a flag to flag sprint race, hell's bells.
But straight off the bat, straight into the first corner, Alex Marquez, woof, straight off.
Was that the one where? That wasn't the one where he nearly took 4 riders out, was it? Was that in the main race?
He almost took out Zarco.
That was in the main race, but only Alex Marquez fell off at the very start.
I can't remember this.
But it wasn't Alex Marquez's fault.
No, it wasn't. No.
Yeah, I remember it now. I remember.
But yeah, there was rain in the air, like literally as they set off, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or was it before they set off?
No, I think they started and then it was like the first lap.
Yeah,
they started coming
and then
down.
they said, "Oh, the rain's coming." I was like, "Oh no, they're all on slicks, and it's the sprint." I was thinking, please stay off because it's going to be greasy. Because the clouds were black, weren't they? They were like,
yeah,
it was like it's going to happen. And as soon as it started raining, I thought straight away, "Oh, this is great for Jack Miller because he loves riding in the rain." He's the best one when it comes to riding in the rain. But Jorge Martin really impressed me in the sprint. I know he does well in the sprints anyway, but he was proper smashing it.
Yeah, I like Jorge
really
Martin.
Good to watch. And then Miller and Marquez had a bit of a bump. I don't know which corner it was, but they definitely came together, and it pushed Marquez out wide.
That ruined Marquez's whole race.
Yeah, but I don't think Miller got penalised for it though.
No, and I was surprised to hear that there wasn't even any talk about it because it was pretty aggressive.
It was, yeah, and it was like
I'm not saying I think it was aggressive and such, but I just mean by the trend of this year. I just seen it and I thought, going by what other things we've seen this year, that was pretty aggressive. Like Marquez was sitting in 3rd at the time, and it sent him right back to 7th, and they couldn't really recover from that.
No,
yeah,
but then not long after that. Binder and Quartararo came together, so the KTM boys just smashing people to bits.
But at the same time, Binder came with Quartararo. Was just whenever race control were saying you've got to do a long lap penalty because you were responsible for Alex Marquez come off.
Yes.
And just as soon as that came through, he fucking sent Quartararo flying.
Yeah, he did.
I was like, Binder. And they were even thinking about you might get a second long lap penalty.
Yeah.
And that's whenever they were talking about that, I was like, well then why are you not talking about Jack Miller getting a long lap penalty for sending Marquez flying? Not flying, but sending him out wide.
Yeah.
Was that the race, or I can't remember which race it was now, but there's one of them, I think, where Jack Miller got a really good start and he passed Bagnaia, and you can see on the camera he gives him a little wave as he goes past. That was quite funny.
I didn't see that.
I never even noticed that.
Yeah, if you watch the replay, I think it's online. Yes, it's quite funny.
I was watching it on my phone.
Well,
I was watching it on my TV from my sofa.
The only 2 riders to hit track limits in that race was Marco Bezzecchi and Alex Rins, but not long after Alex Rins hit that's when he crashed out. and it was a pretty nasty crash as well.
Yeah, he's like broke a bone or something, hasn't he?
He's broken his... Yeah, he's not going to be back for a little while by the looks of it, and it's a real shame.
Why was that not in your news, Chippy?
Well, because we're talking about it now.
Obviously, you guys know that I like Alex... Oh my god. Sam's gone. I bet his battery's died. He's forgotten to put his charger in.
No, that means it's gonna mess his recording.
No, my battery's still going. Can you hear me?
Oh, thank God for that. I got dogs.
My camera's gone. No, I'm plugged in. My battery's still going.
Maybe just click off your camera and click back on again.
Just for God's sake, don't touch Audacity.
You can still talk, so it's fine. Alex Rins is going to be out for quite a while by the looks of it, and it's such a shame because I really like Alex Rins.
Yeah.
He's a real nice bloke, and I just so wish he was still on a bloody Suzuki though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I'm so gutted still that Suzuki aren't in it anymore.
Yeah, it's still feels like
it's Joanne Mir.
Yeah. But that kind of covers the sprint really. That's all that really happened in the sprint.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know why my camera's not working, but we're just going to have to look at a black screen.
It's because you've got a MacBook and they're crap.
Well, I've got a MacBook and they're great. I've just realised we haven't put anything in here about Moto 2 or Moto 3. I can't really remember much about Moto 3, but Moto 2...
Well, I took notes for all races.
Hit us with Moto 3 then,
right,
because...
Right, let's just stop a second. I don't know how the fuck I've done this, but I have linked Discord to my phone. Bag of linked Discord to my phone, motherfucker. I have no idea.
Oh, God, you're so dumb.
Have you ever linked Discord to your phone?
Yeah, I've got Discord on my phone.
Yeah, but have you linked Discord to your phone so that you can put Discord on your phone camera while you're recording?
Yes.
No, you haven't.
Well, I have. I could pick up Discord. I could do Discord over my phone rather than my laptop if I wanted to.
Yeah, I could do Discord over my phone rather than my laptop. But what I'm saying is,
Chippy's gone now.
No, Chippy's done it as well. He's going to put it on his phone.
Chippy's, you've disappeared now.
He's putting it on his phone. But saying you're so smart, Ash, go you do it as well.
No, I don't want to.
And no, because you don't know how to do it. You'll fuck up Audacity because you're a stupid cunt. Alright, there you go.
No, you're the one that's stupid. You did it first. So let's just carry on then.
You better still be recording.
Yes, I'm still recording.
In Moto 3...
Put your camera back on again.
The... obviously set off as they do. Holgado was looking extremely strong at the very start. He was straight out in front straight away. A lot of bikes I noticed in the race were hitting track limits. There was at least like freaking 11 riders with track limits at one point.
They're always hitting track limits.
Yeah,
they always do, but I've never seen that many.
Do you know what in Moto 3 started, even the qualifying, and you know I've got a soft spot for him. You know who I'm going to say? Joe Kelso managed to get second in No, he got second in qualifying. Come on, that was a good qualifying.
Well, at least he opened his eyes for a start.
I was like, I would really love it if
though.
Joe Kelso... I did.
He did.
I was like, I'd love it if Joe Kelso could get a decent result out of this. That would be class if he could get a decent result. Because I really like Joe Kelso, and I think he might do good things in the future. Honestly, I do.
No, I can't see it myself. But then again,
why not?
Do you know what, a few weeks ago I was looking at something, it was like 2018 standings in like Moto 2 and Moto 3, and you see like Bagnaia like finishing 20th in Moto 3 or something. I'm just like, I wonder who now we'll be looking at in 5 years. Is somebody like, I don't know,
Joe Kelso,
Scott Ogden, that's, in MotoGP. There could be somebody like him. Definitely not Anna Carrasco anyway. She didn't get a point, did she, this weekend?
No.
Scott Ogden didn't do much this week. His name didn't crop up too much. I didn't see much of him. But to be honest, they did just for once. Moto 3's always the same, but they had a good tasty battle at the front.
They did. There was 5 riders that were having the really tasty battle at the front.
Yeah, it was good. Wasn't it?
How disappointed do you think Onchu is?
Yeah,
He's dying to get that first win, and he knew every time I go to the line, I'm going to get overtaken in the slipstream. So what do you do?
Yeah. In that last lap, Dennis Onchu just pulled everything out of his arse. He was going for it.
Yeah, but he didn't pull enough.
He didn't know. But obviously, I thought to myself, technically here, Suzuki's got this in the bag, because all he has to do is keep doing the same thing lap after lap, get to that last corner, get in the slipstream, get past him. I thought he had it. And then obviously Holgado took it in the end, but
yes. Do you know what
still a double KTM win though.
Yeah, true. Something I thought that would happen, and it happened a couple of years ago, I think, was they all got to the last lap, pretty much the last corner, and they all sat up because they didn't want to lead coming out the last corner because they knew. I was half expecting that to happen at Mugello.
Yeah, and they all kind of look at each other.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah, you go first.
But during that confusion, somebody can get away.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm surprised it didn't happen.
I tell you, it was good though. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but is it Moreira?
Diego Moreira.
Yeah, he was 22nd on the grid, and he finished 6th, which I think is really, really good.
He's a really good rider.
Yeah, he's a good rider.
I mean, I know it's Moto3,
but there was a lot of them that had a penalty at the start. Sorry, Sam.
Every time they mention his name, for a brief second, in my head, I just think, girl. His name's Moreira.
I always think that who was that newsreader from like back in the 90s? She was is it Moira something? I don't know.
Something.
Moira Stewart. That's who I was thinking of.
Moira Stewart. Yeah. You always think, man.
Mm.
There's a newsreader and her name's Eric a Dancer or something, but she always says I'm Eric a Dancer, but she says it really quick and she goes American Dancer. And I was like, American Dancer.
It's funny. I'm just reading over my notes and I forgot I made this one. It literally just says Joe Kelso must not have had his glasses on as he crashed. Sorry, Joe Kelso. Sorry.
I get really annoyed when you rip into Joe Kelso. I like Joe Kelso. Stop fucking ripping into Joe Kelso so much.
No, I get annoyed when you two rip into frickin' Tom Sykes, but you do it. So I'm going to do it even more now. I know you're not. Now it annoys you.
I think Joe Kelso's going to do big things. I'll tell you, honestly.
I don't.
Why not?
I just don't. But then again, I might prove wrong. I sort of hope I am because I like an Aussie on the grid.
That's what I mean. It's an Aussie. He qualified second. He's obviously got something about him.
Yeah.
He's got something about him.
Artigas and is it Frioli? I don't know how to say his name. Sorry, I'm crap.
Oh, Farioli.
Yeah, they both crashed out quite early on.
Do you not try and take a mental note of these names whenever they're talking about
I do, but obviously when I'm writing them out, my predictive text fucks it up. And yeah,
Ash can't spell.
Oh,
yes, I can't spell. Thank you.
You could just use a pen and paper and write.
Right, my handwriting is as bad as my spelling. All right, let's not even get into that.
Well, that's a you problem, Ash.
No, yeah, it is a me problem. But you two are that judgy. I've got to do things as right as possible.
Yes.
Pieces of shit.
We've been really bad
pedantic is an understatement.
I thought the Moto3 race, in conclusion, my conclusion anyway, you can keep talking, but in my conclusion, I thought the Moto3 race was really, really good, especially up front. There was 5 bikes at one stage going for it. I'm really disappointed for Joe Kelso for crashing, even though he wasn't racing for the race win, but just for crashing. Really disappointed with that. I feel heartbroken for Onchu that he still couldn't get his first win because he was so close.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'm really pleased for Holgado, and he's a rider who's definitely going to go places, and I wouldn't be surprised if even now MotoGP teams are looking at Holgado.
Yeah.
I know he'll probably go to Moto2 and he'll go through that.
He'll probably take.
I think he should. Seat. I think he should go to into Acosta's seat with KTM.
But there will be Moto2 teams, and you think in maybe 3 years from now, 3-4 years from now, KTM could have Acosta and Holgado on a team.
Amazing! How amazing would that be?
And we are getting a bit ahead of
ourselves. If they have Acosta, and well, this is probably better for silly season, isn't it? Really.
I got excited when Lorenzo Dalla Porta was doing really well in Moto3, and look what's happened to him. So it's a different bike, isn't it? The bigger bikes.
Yeah, but out of all the races in the GP this weekend gone, the Moto3 I thought was the best out of all of them.
Moto3 is always good though. It's always tight.
Yeah, but this one specifically was like, it was literally on the edge of your seat for the whole thing. It was like, because Onshu kept wobbling, and like at one point he wobbled he completely went out of came out of nowhere, and then he swerved back into the position he was in. I don't know how he did that.
Probably trying to stop the slipstream.
He was getting frustrated. Did you see when he looked behind him and he started like waving his arm behind his bike?
He did that a lot.
As if to say, "Follow me, fuckers."
And it's like we've mentioned this before. If you're in fourth or fifth and you're trying to catch up, that makes a point. But if you're leading the race, follow me. No, I'm not going to fucking follow you. I'm going to win the race, you dumbass. I'm going to get in front of. Just follow me. What are you talking about? That is absolute stupidity. Why is he doing that?
I don't know.
Why was he doing that?
Maybe
it
it's
just
a little
makes no sense.
He probably lost a couple of seconds there. He probably would have won if he hadn't done that.
It looked like
Every
he was getting
time he
really
did that.
frustrated.
He did.
Every time he did that, I just thought, you look like a spoon every time you do that. Stop doing that. Stop it.
Yeah.
Just ride the bike. They're not going to, they're not there to let you win the race. You know, you're not.
I was
you're
gutted
not just
for
giving a race win.
Gutted for Sasaki though, because I keep picking him every week as my prediction to win.
This
Every
is another
week I
one
pick
of your
Sasaki.
riders. Which
Yeah, you do just pick him every week. You just
Because he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
everybody was tipping
I've
him.
got
For,
faith in
a few
him.
were tipping him for the title this year because he did well last year, but I don't think he's.
Why? What's wrong with me liking certain riders, Chippy? Come on, let's have
But
it
the
out.
thing is, you just like really random people. Alex Rins.
No,
Yeah.
the thing is, you
Sasaki.
like a rider. You like a rider, and that's fine to
Quainer.
like a rider. But when it comes to making predictions, you just say that rider, and there's absolutely no thought or any sort of statistics
No, because-
in it. You're
right,
just like,
I
I'd like that rider, so I think they're going to win. That's like something a 5-year-old would say.
I could
Oh,
pick.
I like
I
Crystal
could
Palace. They might win the Premiership. No, they won't.
Yeah, but we all can't pick the same person, can we?
No, but pick somebody you think might actually win.
Yeah, but
Remember at the
once you
start
two
of
have
the season,
picked, I'm
we
left.
gave. Sorry, we gave our
I'm left
predictions at
with
the
who's
start of
there.
the seasons. At the start of the
Yeah.
season, we predicted our
Yeah.
championship winners, and you
No,
were like, Anna Carrasco.
Yeah, why not?
No, I understand you like him and you can pick him every now and again, but it's just every week you just I'm going to pick him. And it's like, well, do you honestly think he's going to win the race?
Yeah,
Pick who
but
you think.
look
is
how
gonna win the
close
race.
he was. Look how close he was to winning it. It's not like he's leaps and bounds off. It's not like an Anna Carrasco, is he? He's not leaps and bounds off. He came third, and do you know what?
Yeah.
He was nearly there. He's nearly
He's
there.
We'll ask next. We know, right?
And there's
that
nothing
you're
wrong,
gonna-
Chippy, with liking Alex Rins. Alex Rins is a MotoGP winner.
Yeah, I like Alex Rins, but I don't like him
Yeah.
to the extent
Oh.
that you do. You had a car
Oh.
sticker on your car with his number on. and
Yeah.
stuff.
Carl Crutchlow was a MotoGP winner, and you didn't like him.
Yeah, but that's because he's an arrogant prick.
Well, do you know what Alex Rins is like?
Yeah, he's actually a really nice guy.
Have you spoke to him?
No, but from what I've seen, he's a nice guy.
What do you mean? What you've seen? You've only seen what's on TV.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
not going
you've
to
not
be a
seen
dick on
anything.
TV, is he? He's going to
Yeah,
give
but Cal
himself-
Crutchlow
Any-
was a dick on TV, and yet
Yeah, but Carl Crutchlow's first language is English, so you can understand his mannerisms much better than Alex Rins. Alex Rins, whenever he speaks in Spanish, could be an absolute cock. You don't know that because you don't
Well,
understand
I
Spanish
like him.
mannerisms, or you don't understand Spanish. So the fact that you like him because he's a MotoGP winner is just a complete void,
that's not
stupid
the
argument.
only reason I like him.
But that's what you said. You said he's a MotoGP winner. I like him. He's a MotoGP
What is the
winner.
reasons you like him then?
He's a very humble person by the looks of it. He is.
We need. No,
I'm sorry, right,
times
okay, alright. At the end of the
There's times
race,
like
right,
this, Chippy, when we need that meme.
hang on. The end of the race, he's just won the MotoGP on the Suzuki. One of the marshals passed away, and he donated his helmet, among other things, to the family.
Yeah, that's very nice of him.
Yeah. You don't see
Yeah,
freaking
it's good.
Marc Marquez doing that, do you?
I don't know. I'm sure at some stage Mark Marquez has donated to charity.
Bollocks.
I can't quote that, but I'm sure he probably has. We'll have to.
Yeah, well,
I
don't know. I like him.
So Ash
all
likes
the interviews I've watched him in, he's always just seemed like a decent bloke.
That's why he likes Tom Sykes, because he's humble, because he has to be.
You two can take the piss all you like.
We will.
I like Tom Sykes too. I think Tom Sykes has had an incredible career. He's a world superbike champion. I just like passing you off.
Yeah, well, Joe Kelso needs to open his eyes more often, then he won't crash.
That wasn't even Joe Kelso's fault. That was Holgado's fault.
No, it wasn't.
Too much. It was.
It was Joe Kelso's fault.
Absolutely not. I
didn't look where he was going. Smashed into the back of him. What an idiot. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the Moto 2, and we will move on to
the worst point, really.
Right.
The worst part.
Can I talk first, please?
I suppose, since you like doing it so much.
Right. So I had driven the whole way in a truck from like the south of England halfway up to somewhere in Scotland, and I was really tired. Right. I had my dinner, I had a couple of beers, and I went to bed, and I thought I'll watch the Moto 2, and it was nice and comfortable, put it that way. And I was lying in my bed watching the Moto 2, and then the bit you were talking about, as soon as Sam Lowe's come off, I was like, oh fuck this, I'm done. I was just there kind of like trying to fight sleep and watch some of the bikes as well, so my recollection of the Moto 2 is not great. I rewatched it, like, but
I was just really angry as soon as Sam Lowe got taken out. I was so angry.
It was ridiculous.
I was really pissed off. I was just
because it was so early on in the race. He didn't need to make that stupid move.
But it was just like he was never going to land that move cleanly. It was never going to be clean.
No, and he got the whole race to make safe moves.
He basically just did a complete Marquez. That's what he did.
No, it wasn't a Marquez. It was a Gran Turismo move.
Marquez.
It was kind of Gran Turismo, yeah.
Yeah.
He and he's I know he was punished for it, and he was punished twice for it ultimately. Was it Alonso Lopez? Was that it?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
But I was so angry because I've been looking forward to the Moto 2 because I had Sam Lowe's down as my prediction, and once again, I'll say it again, Sam Lowe's is such a good rider. He's got, well, maybe got and had, past tense, present tense. He's still got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of talent. He can win races, and he can win races well. And he does make mistakes. I'm not saying he doesn't, but whenever everything's going for him, it's like, you just don't need this. You don't need this. This is just. It's just. I can understand why he was so pissed off. At the side of the track.
He was angry when he was so angry, and yeah, you can understand it because it shouldn't have happened.
No,
and it's not so Sam's fault.
But then they said, oh, you're getting a long lap penalty, and I was just like, that's. Not enough. He's just
it's not enough.
He's just taking out my favourite rider. Just do that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
No,
it was. Do you know what? While we're on the big subjects on Moto 2, because obviously this is going to come out right now, and obviously you two, you have your little thing. So Jake Dixon got third.
Wow.
And I was chuffed to bits with the fact that he got third. You know, he did well.
I was also pleased that Jack Dixon got third.
Yeah.
I'm pleased.
I was as well.
Jack Dixon.
No, you weren't, Chippy. No, you weren't,
I was.
Chippy.
The thing is, though, he only got third because Alonso Lopez did a long lap penalty.
It doesn't matter.
Effectively twice.
2 long lap penalties.
And
it doesn't matter.
Sam Lowe's got taken out. So he would have finished best fifth.
At the start of the race, there was 4 riders who crashed out of the race, and 1 or 2 of them could have potentially been up there as well.
He should be finishing on the podium. He's still
got a podium.
I know to finish.
He did get a podium,
yeah,
and we're pleased to get a podium, and we're happy we got a podium. I am pleased for him, and really happy that.
I think he could have definitely still got into that third place regardless.
Nah.
If he pushed it, he would have done.
I think if Sam Lowe's hadn't been taken out, he would have taken the race to Acosta, and them two would have been racing each other.
Yeah,
honestly, I think so.
He'd have got fifth at best.
Now, for me, yeah, because Alonso Lopez was up. He was in 4th or 5th. towards the end of the race.
Yeah.
So he did really well.
But he didn't save his front tyre, whereas Jake Dixon did.
Yeah, but Alonso Lopez was never going to finish third after doing 2 long lap penalties. Never. The fact that he could even get to 5th place was really good, which is just highlights the fact that if he hadn't have done the 2 long lap penalties, Jake Dixon would have never caught him. And if he hadn't have taken Sam Lowes out, and Sam Lowes hadn't have crashed later on in the race, because he does have previous, he wouldn't have caught him either.
Still, don't forget,
we were talking.
Still got third.
Philip Salat as well. Obviously, he was doing really well, but then he had problems with his rear tyre.
He had problems with his front tyre.
We were talking about it. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier on the chat because you two were having your little childish argument, and for me, Jake Dixon has to come out next week, and he has to back this up with another.
Absolutely, and I agree with that 100%. He does.
But I think he should be doing this week in, week out. He should be getting podiums because that bike and that team is capable of winning championships.
I agree with you.
I still don't think he's performing as well as he should be.
I think he'll get a podium this weekend.
Did they say, was it this year or was it in total, that it's his 7th podium, his 7th third place, but it was his first dry weather podium?
Oh, was it?
I don't know if it was this year or in total.
I just still think that he is the best chance of us having a British rider in the MotoGP.
Don't be daft.
You think it's Rory Skinner, and I think he is miles off.
Yeah, of course he's going to be. It's his first season. He's only had about 5 races.
I think it's Scott Ogden, our best chance for a MotoGP rider, British MotoGP rider.
I don't think so.
Honestly, if I was a MotoGP team now, I would go for Sam Lowes before I'd go for Jake Dixon.
Yeah, I would, 100%.
Because he's got experience on a MotoGP bike. He's a better Moto2 rider.
But the thing is, they're not going to, though. I don't think they will.
No, they're not. And they won't give Jake Dixon a ride either, because there's a dozen other riders who they would give a bike to first.
Yeah. I think Rory Skinner.
I'm not saying that because I don't like Jake Dixon.
No,
I'm saying that because I can think of a dozen other riders who
absolutely
think they would give that
Dorna are going to want a British rider in MotoGP.
Yeah, but they're not just going to give it to any British rider just because they're British. They're not just going to give it to Jake Dixon just because he's British.
I think he'll end up in MotoGP. I really do.
I don't think he will. I think Rory Skinner will get ahead of him.
No,
maybe in the next year. In the next year, he will.
I'm not.
You're only saying that, but he's only had 5 races to get used to the bike. He's obviously going to be at the back.
He crashed in 2 of them.
Yeah, because he's not used to the bike yet. You dafty. He's still getting used to the bike. He's going to be down there. Give it another year, he'll be further up in the standings.
No, also, I don't think it. So you think in another year he's going to be beating Jake Dixon?
Yeah, I reckon this. Maybe not this time next year. Towards the end of next season, I reckon he'll be beating Jake Dixon.
Well, maybe need to see a bet on this.
I'm willing to bet on it.
It's a big bet.
I'll have a think. Or people can suggest podcast at bigbadbs.co.uk.
In fact, Sam, are you at work tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, can you not get this edited tonight so me and Chippy can listen to it on the way down to Knockhill?
I was thinking that, but will you listen to it on the way back up and see how accurate
are? You can listen to it on the way back up. Yeah, I'm not editing it tonight. You can get to fuck. We'll see that.
So apart from Sam Lowes and obviously Jake Dixon, Darren Binder crashed out.
He's not been very impressive, has he, on the Moto2?
He hasn't, to be honest.
I was expecting a bit more from him.
I was.
He's a bit like Darren Bender. He's the Joan Mir of Moto2.
I think Darren Binder's attitude is win it or bin it, and he's just not good enough to have that attitude, really. Because if you're not winning it, then you're binning it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Toby, I think Brad Binder was a bit like that for a while as well, but he seems to have got it all together, and
he's grown on me a lot. Brad Binder has.
He's arguably I love it when he's got interviews. Well, anyway. Moto2.
Also, Tony Arbolino, I've got him down as my prediction to win the next this coming weekend for Moto2.
I'll tell you what, actually, this weekend would be a good track for the Brits because Sachsenring's quite twisty and tight, isn't it? This could be.
But
Jake
Tony
Dixon's big
Arbolino
chance.
he's just, I really like watching him. He's really impressive to watch.
Yeah, I liked him in Moto3 as well.
Yeah, it's just a great rider. He's always consistent. Aaron Canet. What is it with Aaron Canet? I mean,
he's a bit like Johan Zarco, and you just can't get that win.
Yeah, it's really disappointing because I think it'd be great to see him on the podium, or on the winning at least.
I heard something the other day. I don't know if this is true, but apparently some teams aren't looking at him because of his tattoos. They don't want him because of all the tattoos.
Because of the neck tattoos?
Because he's got tattoos around his neck, yeah. Apparently that's putting some teams off. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've heard. That's what a few reports have said.
We live in a society now where tattoos are so freaking accepted. Just get over it. I mean, personally, I don't like them. I personally think they look stupid. But, you know...
I quite like Canets.
I don't like his tattoos in his neck. But this shouldn't stop him from getting a ride.
Yeah, but this is going into cultural differences that I'm not going to claim to understand, but I know from watching movies and reading manga and stuff like that in Japan, tattoos can mean a lot more than what they do.
Yeah, if you've got tattoos in Japan, it can mean you're part of Yakuza and stuff like that.
Well, even beyond that, it can mean a pile of different things. So, and I don't know if it's the Japanese teams, but they might be looking at that thinking that them tattoos may seem a little bit disrespectful or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
But it's the same scenario. It's the same scenario. Somebody's like, "Oh, I got loads of tattoos." It's like, well, I know you want to look tattoos and you want to stick it to the man and you want to put tattoos in yourself, but just think about how people's going to look at you. Because sometimes when you get a big fucking stupid sleeve, people just think you look like a stupid cunt.
Well, as long as you can cover it up, then I think they're all right.
You. So just so the listeners know, Ash has got a wobbly lightsaber on his arm. It's like, you remember
it's
whenever...
It's not wobbly.
Whenever Bugs Bunny would pull out his sword and it would go soft and he'd have a wobbly sword. That's what that lightsaber
right.
Like.
So obviously, as most people will know that know about Star Wars, lightsabers are straight. So when it was tattooed on my arm, they are tattooed straight. If I bend my arm, yes, it goes bendy. Like that.
But nobody walks about with their arms straight like some sort of Nazi on a
No, I'm not saying
square.
that, obviously, but when you're walking along, your arm is sort of
You've got a wobbly lightsaber. You've got a wobbly lightsaber.
Well, a lot of people give me a lot of nice comments about it, so
it's
very
nerds.
Very
Nerds.
nice. It's a brilliant tattoo.
Did you catch that, nerd?
Shut your
mouth. Personally, I don't think Aaron Canet's tattoos are that offensive, but
no. And
I don't know if it's the Japanese teams that are saying that, because it's the first time I've heard of that, Chippy. But it might be some teams, and a lot of there is an image to think of teams. Yeah. Just like in other sports, they've got an image they want to think of.
Yes. I just want to touch on one more thing about Aaron Canet's tattoos, and then I'll shut up about it. I do like how it goes like from his neck and onto his helmet. I think that's pretty cool.
But he shouldn't be getting, if that's what it is, he shouldn't be getting discriminated against because he's got tattoos. That's my point I'm trying to make.
No, he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be. Absolutely not.
So I don't know if it's true, but that's what I've heard.
I remember seeing him last year, was it? And I was aware of who Aaron Canet was, of course, but I seen him last year. He finished on the podium. He came up to do an interview, and he had this little wooden bow tie on. I was like, I love Aaron Canet. I think he's class. He needs to win a race because he's got so much personality. Yeah. He's the sort of personality that if he was to go to MotoGP and be successful, he could take it places that other riders couldn't, because he's got a personality. He does. He's like, whenever Valentino Rossi was doing well in MotoGP, Valentino Rossi had a personality, and he captured the minds of people even outside of MotoGP. Whenever Usain Bolt was winning races and the Olympics and stuff, he was able to capture the imaginations of people outside the sports of athletics because he had such a good personality. Aaron Canet's got that personality. I think he's got that sort of appeal to him that people outside the sport, if he was big enough to maybe transcend the actual sport, could he could appeal to people like that. He's not the only one with that sort of personality. There's other ones coming up.
Yes, but I think there's quite a few riders on the grid at the minute that don't really have a personality in MotoGP. I think we are missing more personalities than we used to have.
I think Bagnaia tries to bring it. Like, whenever, going back a couple of rounds, he had crashed and then he won a race and he was picking up the number one and pointing to it like, I'm number one. I think he tries to have that about him, but he doesn't want to be cocky because he knows ultimately he's not dominating the championship, so he can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said last year, Aaron Canet, controversy, sorry, edit this bit out. Apparently it's not liked by teams and sponsors, his tattoos. I don't get it. Anyway, carrying on, sorry.
But sticking on it because it's an important point. I know it's not really to do with motorbikes, it's going off completely, but there are still a lot of people in a lot of places that are put off by tattoos. Like, I know I was having a joke there, but it's just stupid. It's only tattoos. It's just a bit of ink.
Yeah. Doesn't change the person.
And some of them, there's some tattoos that I just think are stupid, and I think, why did you get that tattoo? Like, for example, Raheem Sterling got a tattoo of like a rifle on his leg.
Yeah.
I don't know, he's maybe trying to suggest that every time he kicks a ball or something that's like, it's like a shot's fired or something. But when you get rifles tattooed on you, that's, people can look at that and be offended by it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
as long as they're not just racist or discriminating in any way, then you should be able to have what you want and just go about your life. That's why I think
it's fucking tattoo. Yeah.
Anyway, should we move on to the?
I think you'd suit a sleeve, Sam. To be fair.
Yeah, I'll never get a tattoo. Me, never.
Nah, you're too scared. Let's move on to MotoGP. Shall we?
It's the one piece of advice I take from my dad. He said he says, don't get a tattoo, you'll just end up regretting it. And I was like, yeah, because I'll probably end up a fat dad with a Star Wars sleeve.
Yeah. Beats his dog. So MotoGP, Jack Miller, like, boom, he was straight out there as usual. He tends to get like straight out in front straight away.
That's when he did his little wave. You need to rewatch it.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch it. I didn't see the little wave, but Jack Miller gets out in front, starts smashing it, and then he just goes he drops back. Do you think that's because of tyre wear, or he's just knackered? Like, what is it? Because he shoots out like a bullet, and he's on it, and then he just
yes. I really don't know.
Do you think it's KTM?
No, I don't know what it is. I think you touched on it last week whenever I said I thought Marquez was going to win. That long straight really suited the Ducatis.
Yeah, I suppose it did. Yeah,
because you look at the results. Neither KTM rider did very well this week. Neither of them. But
can I just mention the livery on the Ducatis? Is it an anniversary one? Where it was kind of like a heaven and hell livery.
The Pramac
it was a Dante's Inferno.
I really liked it. I thought it was really cool.
Chippy, it didn't look cool. You agreed with me on the chat that we thought it looked shit.
Actually,
so don't sit.
I think it looks class. I need to have a look
at it. If I remember, actually, there was a lot going on it. There's a bit too.
There was a lot going on, but
it was something different.
I suppose I quite like some custom bikes and what people do with them, so it kind of looked like a custom street bike kind of. I really liked it. I thought it looked cool.
I didn't mind it completely, but apparently the theme was Dante's Inferno, and I was like, I don't really get it. Like, I know it's heaven and hell and the different levels of hell. Like, Dante's Inferno suggests there's like 7 levels of afterlife, from the very good. Somebody can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I think it's from like the very good, which is heaven, right down to the very bottom, which is like the worst of hell. The 7 levels of afterlife. It's like the 7 levels of hell or something. But I don't really get that with a bike. Just thought it looked like a child had coloured it in. It was like one of them competitions you get when you were at primary school, and it's like, oh, let's all colour a picture and do the best one, and you whoever's the best will get their picture on.
Yeah, but
on
you
the
could
livery.
say that about like some of Valentino Rossi's helmets with the design on there. Say that about them.
Well, I'm sure if I look back at every Valentino Rossi helmet, there is probably some of them I wouldn't like.
Yeah.
The one with the face on it was the best.
That
You
was
ever see the one with the
awful.
face?
That
was the best one. Every time he put his head down, look, he's going,
I hated it. I hated it so much.
I like that
class. I like that one because it was funny and it had personality, and that's why he was able to, like I said, he was able to transcend the sport because he
Have you had
so
another
much
look at the livery, Chippy?
I've just looked at it now, yeah, and I don't like it.
Oh, I quite like it. Anyway, I thought the livery was cool. I think, and I'm just going to touch on this now, with the whole, we know obviously Yamaha's having a mare at the moment, and Quartararo and Morbidelli are the riders of Yamaha. I think I can now honestly say I think Morbidelli is Yamaha's number one rider.
No, don't
Why?
be silly.
I just think he's gonna. I think he's gonna pass. I think he's gonna pass Quartararo.
Don't be stupid. They want to get rid of him.
He beat him in one of the races. He finished ahead of him in the race.
Nah.
Can't mind if it was the sprint or the feature race, but he did finish ahead of him once.
He's got a long way to go before he's number one rider, and I think he needs to beat Quartararo by a lot, and a lot more races.
But it's one for silly season, but
Yeah,
judging by
I think we do touch on it in
Morbidelli's
silly season actually.
judging by Morbidelli's interview, I don't know if he's going to even be a Yamaha next year.
Yeah. I don't know. Quartararo. I really like Quartararo, but he's just.
They won't get rid of him, and he'll be the
Yeah.
number one rider.
Another one that impressed me in the MotoGP was Zarco. He was back in 11th, and to finish third is fucking decent, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Zarco always does this. He always does it. He always finishes well. His second half of the race is always really, really good.
Late race pace.
He's got late race pace. He does. He looks after his tyres. He comes into it later in the race, but
I think he'll win one this year.
I hope so, but I don't know.
I think he
I'm
will.
not sure. I think the further into the year we go, the less likely it is that the satellite bikes are going to win a race. Because, and especially with, like, again, correct me if I'm wrong, and if anybody listening back home wants to send an email and correct me, podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk, that's fine. But I think especially when we come to the summer interval, anything that them satellite bikes are doing, any sort of progression they're making, anything that they're doing right that's helping Ducati, it's all going to go to the factory bike, is it not? Because at the end of the day, the whole point of a satellite bike is for them to get more information that they can put. So, like, you think Bezzecchi, if Bezzecchi's doing something with his bike and they're like, that really works, we need a part to go on to the Ducati, and that will, or to go on to the factory bike, that will now make the factory bike better using that information. They'll put it in the factory bike. And if Mooney Ducati are like, oh well, that's not fair, it's like, well, you know what it's like. You're a satellite bike. The whole point is we want the Ducati to win, and we want our factory Ducati to win. So I think the further we go in the season, the less likelihood it is that the satellite Ducatis are going to be as competitive. So I don't think Johan Zarco is going to win one.
That's true, but the Ducatis, they all share information, they all share data with each other. All the factories and the... Sorry, I say all the factory. The factory and all the satellite bikes, they all share information with each other.
Yeah, I know they all share information, but the point I'm trying to make is from that information... Yeah, from that information, if they say, so we've done all this information and we concluded that if we do this to the bike, it will make it better, but we've only got enough funds and supplies and materials to do this to the factory bike. They're not going to go, oh well, maybe do it to the Mooney Ducati bikes instead. They're going to be like, we'll put it in the factory bikes, and if it doesn't work in the factory bikes, then they might give it to the other bikes to see if it works in them. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, they're there to bolster the...
It would be interesting if say the last race of the season, or like towards the end, it was just Bezzecchi and Bagnaia for the title. How much support the factory Ducati team give to Bezzecchi? or whether they'll kind of hold stuff back to give Bagnaia the edge. That could get interesting.
I think if it came to the end of the season and it was the last race of the season and it was between Bezzecchi and Bagnaia, like, let's just say if they both fell off, whoever happened to be leading the championship still would win the championship, right? I can imagine that Ducati would be, we want our flagship team to win.
Yeah.
Because as much as it would be good for a fan, can you imagine how Ducati would feel? You imagine how the whole, like, whenever you get the Ducati, you think the factory Ducati, they don't want a satellite team winning.
No. But do you think the factory Ducati team will just stop sharing information with them, or do you reckon...
I don't think they would.
I reckon they could.
I think if it came down to the scenario you were talking about, it would be like, you can go out and go for a straight race and see who wins the champ.
From you.
I am.
No, I am.
I think they could go out and be like, just have a straight race. There's no team orders here. Go out and see who wins the race. But looking at it, Bezzecchi's benefit this year is the fact that he's consistent and he always finishes and he always gets points. That's his benefit this year. Why the reason Bagnaia isn't 50-60 points ahead of him is because he's crashed out of races.
Yeah.
So the factory bike and Bagnaia are better than Bezzecchi. Bagnaia just keeps crashing. So if it comes down to that point, what you're saying, they're just going to be like, well, Bagnaia, you're on a better bike, all you have to do is not crash, and you'll beat him.
Bezzecchi for the win.
I think it's Bagnaia's to lose, to be honest.
Yeah.
Even at this early stage in the championship.
It was the MotoGP race that Morbidelli finished in front of Quartararo, just for that you know.
Yeah, he finished 9th and Quartararo finished 10th, I think.
10th and 11th it was.
But Quartararo finished a few places ahead of him in the sprint race.
Oh yeah, he did. He did, to be fair, yeah. You're right there. Jorge Martin as well on the Ducati, on the satellite Ducati, doing class.
Yeah.
He's doing really well. He's come leaps and bounds, really, hasn't he? Obviously the Ducatis are just doing really well at the moment.
Going back to round one, if Bastianini hadn't have been taken out and hadn't have got his injury and was still riding, it's reasonable enough to suggest that he would be finishing second every race behind Bagnaia.
Yes.
But he's not there, so...
I know, but I just mean we're looking at the, obviously Bezzecchi's a title contender, but we're looking at the satellite Ducatis and we're bigging them up and saying they're really good and really, and title contenders and all. But if you had Bastianini in there, maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe it would be a straight out factory Ducati fight.
Yeah, maybe.
I think Jorge Martin's got a chance. He's a decent rider. He's doing really well in the sprint.
He is, yeah.
And he seems to be pulling it together in the actual feature race as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything else to talk about the MotoGP? That covers it.
Not a lot, no.
Should we head into what is it next? Silly season? Is it?
No, we've not talked about the rest of the TT yet. Do you want to talk about the rest of the TT?
Oh right, yeah, we can talk about the rest of the TT. So Sam needs to apologise because he massively jinxed Michael Dunlop in the last pod.
I'm not apologising. I didn't jinx Michael Dunlop.
You did. You said, "Oh,
you did."
Well, I'm not trying to jinx him, but if he gets mechanical issues, and then his bloody bike broke down."
No, that's not what I said. I said I don't want to jinx him, but I would rather he beats his uncle's takes the throne from his uncle next year.
Exactly, so you fucking jinxed him. But I'm happy you did, because obviously now I'm going, so I'll be able to see it for myself.
Nah, maybe that jinx him a little bit. But I knew that Peter Hickman was always going to go out and win the Superstock race, and boy did he win the Superstock race.
Jesus.
what was it? He did like
Unbelievable.
136 on the
136.3 something.
36 or something.
It's
Now, of
unbelievable.
course, to me, I'm just spouting numbers, but I'm not stupid. I can imagine what it must feel like to be on a motorbike doing 136 mile an hour. Jesus.
Average as well.
That's the average.
Average, yeah. So,
but can you imagine, right? See, average speed limit, like if say you're just going down to Tesco, your average speed limit will be around 35. That'll be your average.
well, I think if you're doing a long drive, and most times you're sitting at 70 on the motorway,
yeah,
if you're doing the speed limit, and then there's other times you're sitting at 30, and you think, well, my average speed limit is probably about 50 mile an hour here.
yeah. And these guys are doing in 37 miles an average speed limit. Peter Hickman's doing it at 136 miles per hour. That is unbelievable.
I know, and he's still got time to do wheelies and look at cameras. Did you see his picture?
Yeah.
His picture going over the mountain where he's doing a wheelie and he's looking at the cameras. And it's like, you know where the camera is. You're going over 100 mile an hour. You still got the foresight to know where the camera is, do a wheelie and look at it. It's just incredible.
So I worked it out, Chippy. From where we are to Inverness
Yes.
is roughly around the same circuit distance as the TT.
Yes.
They do that distance to Inverness in 16-17 minutes.
That's mental, isn't it? Because it takes us over an hour to get there.
It takes us over an hour. It's like 16-17 minutes. That's unbelievable.
Of course, we have to remember that Ash worked this out, so it's probably wrong.
Yeah.
No.
But anyway, your point is valid. Yeah, your point is valid.
Yes.
Jesus, the speed they're going.
Oh.
I knew, I knew. Oh, look at me, I knew. But I had a fairly good inkling that as soon as Peter Hickman did that with the super stock of 136, I was like, if he takes that bike out, or his superbike's better than that, he's going to win the superbike race.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
In the senior race, he took the super stock out in the senior race, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He took his superbike out.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He said they had made progress with their superbike, so he took it out in the race. And then Michael Dunlop said there was problems with his superbike because I don't think he went nearly as fast on the senior race as what he did in the superbike race.
Yeah.
Now, I know we're talking about Peter Hickman and we're talking about Michael Dunlop, but the one man I feel really, really bad for is Mike Brown.
I thought you were going to say somebody else.
Dean Harrison.
No,
I thought he was going to say Dean Harrison. Yeah.
Dean Harrison. Dean Harrison was a maybe man the whole time. He's a fantastic TT rider, really good rider, and I do feel for him because he was third most of the time and he got 1 second. But Dean Harrison's got TT wins. He's got TT wins. It's whenever Michael Dunlop's Super Twin shit itself and Mike Brown was in the lead and he had a healthy lead and it looked like he was going to win the race. And like, who is Mike Brown? You know what I mean? Who is Mike Brown? Who is he? He's
Irish, isn't he?
Yeah, he's South Irish. He's just this dude that's been riding bikes. He's creeping up. He's getting better than no one. But I've heard a bit of him. Like, but it's like, who is this dude? He's about to win his first TT. Like, imagine what that means to you. Win your first TT race, and then his bike goes and shits itself. And then I was like, I felt so bad for him. And then they put the microphone in front of him and they gave an interview and I just went, God, I've just fell in love with Mike Brown. His interview was amazing. He was so humble and down to earth and he was just like, well, you know, it is what it is. It's just like, this guy's class, definitely. Come back next year and win a race, Mike Brown. Class.
I know we're talking about the TT right now, but there was something about the MotoGP that we completely missed.
What?
Marquez coming off.
Oh yeah, we did.
And he did the whole stood there like a big goalkeeper, and he's had his picture been put in loads of memes, stood in front of the goal at football games.
Just look at the bike.
Oh,
I think we didn't mention it because we just expect it to happen now. Marquez just go crash. The Honda's just not good. The Honda's not good enough. Marquez pushes it because he wants to get as high up as he can, and inevitably he crashes. So what I was looking at earlier was I was trying to see who's got the most points, the factory Yamaha or the factory Honda.
It's got to be the Yamaha.
Oh, well and truly. Right, so I can't mind exactly, but I've got the rough figures. How many points do you think Morbidelli and Quartararo have between them?
Between them?
Yeah.
15.
That'd be more than that.
15?
I don't know. I'm just shout out a guess.
I don't know. Something like 65.
Right, between the two of them, they've got 110 points.
Holy
more than I
crap!
thought.
Right, so Marc Marquez and Joan Mir, the factory Honda riders, how many points have they got between them?
About 40.
40. Jesus, you went too low in the first one and too high in the second one. Ash,
I don't want to guess because you'll laugh at me.
make a guess, come on.
Go on, guess.
10.
Well, it's not far away. They've got 20 points between the two of them. That's ridiculous. The factory Honda team has 20 points.
And
The
Marquez
factory
got a
Yamaha
podium
team.
in the sprint race, the first one, didn't he? And how many points
Joan
is that?
Mir's got 5 points.
That's
Marquez has got 15.
Yeah, that is pretty bad.
Oh yeah, Mark is the GOAT apparently.
Well, he is. It's the bike, isn't it? That's the issue.
I know, but still, you could finish a few races and get a few points.
Yeah.
At some stage this season, Marc Marquez has to go to the line and realise, I just had to bring this bike home. I can't win the race. I just had to bring it home.
Well,
Can't afford
Sachsenring
to
this
keep
weekend.
flipping it.
It's Sachsenring this weekend. He'll win it.
If he's going to win any race this year, it's going to be at Sachsenring. Anyway,
I know.
we can get back into
No,
the TT now. I just wanted to mention his crash. So.
No, but even Maverick Vinales with his Aprilia can go to the line and think, I am going to push this bike as hard as I can, and if I didn't win the race, I'll bin the bike. Even he can go to the line and think like that. He's like, I'm going to give it everything. I'm either going to win or I'm going to crash.
I'll be honest.
At some stage, that just becomes just an absolute stupid thing to do. This win it or bin it mentality it doesn't work. It's alright if you're actually fighting for the lead, this win it or bin it. But at some stage, it just has to be like, take a step back and think, right, I'm just going to bring the bike home and make sure I get some points. Like, right, I didn't know, because I'm not a mechanic, I'm not a technician. So if anybody out there knows, podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk, you can get in touch and let us know. But does it affect the sort of, whenever he crashes and the bike flips and goes all over the place and smashes up, does that affect in any way the information that they can get from the bike, or anything they can learn from the bike? Like, if he was to actually bring let's say he finished 15th and brought the bike home and sailed it into the garage, can he then hook it up to like some sort of CPU and say, oh, this is the information we can get from it? Does that change whenever he flips it and sends it flying? My point is it more detrimental to Honda whenever he keeps crashing, or Joan Mir keeps crashing, excuse me? At what point you have to think, is it not more beneficial for Honda just for Marc Marquez to actually finish a race, and Joan Mir to?
I know what you're
finish a
saying.
race?
But yes. Do you know what I've been disappointed with this year, though? Is Aprilia. I thought they'd be, after all the promise I had last season, I thought Aprilia would be a bit higher up than they are.
It's maybe a little one for silly season, and I sent this in the message the other day. I was like, KTM, they've made it perfectly clear they don't want Marquez. That might be smoke and mirrors, maybe they do. But they've made it clear they don't want Marquez. In my opinion, Ducati don't need Marquez.
Yes.
And if they get Marquez, it looks like they're desperate, like they want to win championships when they've already got a championship winner and contender. So Ducati won't take him. Yamaha will never have him.
No.
Lynn Jarvis has said that. He'll never be a Marquez set on a Yamaha. And it's like, who else is there? And I thought Aprilia, at the start of the year, we thought Aprilia would have had a chance because they've got a good fast bike.
Yeah.
Put Marquez on their Aprilia, is it a different story? He can do more without Aprilia than Maverick Vinales can.
Yeah. And Aleix Spargaro is on about retiring soon. So if that's the end of this season, or Whenever there's
So
gonna be
fast forward 8 months, not even 8 months. Fast forward 6 months from now, and it's just broken news. You're scrolling through Crash.net, and it says Marc Marquez has signed for Aprilia. Would you be surprised, or would you think?
I think that's
actually,
probably quite good for everybody.
Yeah. So I thought that as well. That's what I was thinking the other day. Like, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking Ducati won't have him because they don't need him. KTM have already said they can't afford him and they don't want him.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be in the Yamaha, or he doesn't want to be in the Honda. Yamaha will never have him. So where does that leave him? The only place he can go is Aprilia. And if you think about it, Aprilia is the only team that's in the position where they would go, yes.
Yeah. Because
yes, we'll
I think that is... Because I know Aleix Espargaro's done a lot for that team, but he's never going to win the championship with that team. He's never going to win a championship full stop. I don't think Vinales has got what it takes, really. I think they need the rider.
Even if Marc Marquez doesn't win a championship with Aprilia, he will push that bike and he will get so much more out of that bike than any other rider can.
Yes.
Well, any other rider that's in the paddock at the minute, he will get so much more out of that bike. Me personally, I think it's an absolute perfect fit.
Yes.
But I don't mean this literally. I don't mean it literally. But I think if Marc Marquez does go there, he's going there to end his career. But it's good for both parties. I don't think he'll win a championship, but I think it's the best place for him.
But I think he'd have a better chance on that bike of winning a championship than he has on the Honda.
Yeah, me too.
At the moment,
I think it's a perfect fit. And if you're listening to this podcast and 6 months from now this becomes true and this actually happens, just remember you heard it here first. Marc Marquez is going to Aprilia. That's where Marc Marquez is going. Episode 16, Big Bad Bike Show, Wednesday the 14th of June, 11:15 at night. Marc Marquez is going to Aprilia.
Is it 11:15? Oh my god!
Fucking have that, and we've got loads to go through yet.
Yes, we do.
Shall we get onto it?
We're going right. So we've had a little touch on the biggest point to making the TT was, I jinxed Michael Dunlop. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Peter Hickman absolutely destroyed it in the second half of the races. Brilliant. Really good. Yeah. So we're going to talk silly season.
Yay.
On you go, Chippy.
Sorry.
Is he playing Simpsons? Is he playing Simpsons again?
No, that was the Angry Birds theme. I played it last week. Did you not hear it?
No, we didn't hear it.
No, I played it last week when we started talking silly season. Listen to the podcast last week. You can hear it.
No, I can hear something, but we didn't hear anything this time.
We
just seen you sitting there nodding your head, and we were like, "What's he doing? Having a stroke?"
No, it's
I was like, "I hope he is."
It's the Angry.
Bloody hell!
It's the Angry Birds theme.
All right, there we go.
Anyway, I wrote something on here earlier. I haven't just proofread it, so I might just read it as it is. Before we start, I just want to address Yamaha and Morbidelli. I know we've already mentioned it, but if I was Lynn Jarvis, I'd be wanting Morbidelli to stay. Because right now, I think they need an experienced MotoGP rider to get the bike back where it needs to be. He has finished runner-up on that bike before. So I think it's in Yamaha's interest to keep him. But judging by his interview last week, he doesn't want to stay. So,
is it that he doesn't want to stay, or he's not getting enough love?
maybe.
He's maybe not getting an arm. He's maybe not getting an arm around him, being like, "Oh, you're doing well," but nobody's doing well. Yamaha, I think Yamaha's just in a really bad place.
Yeah,
like, just completely.
I think Yamaha need him more than he needs Yamaha.
Well, who else would Yamaha get? Because their bike's terrible.
Well, the rumour I heard a few months ago, and this is near the bottom of the list, but I'll go to it now, is Alonso Lopez from Moto2. But obviously after this weekend, my opinion of him's gone right down. But yeah, he was the one that was rumoured to be going.
What, because he knocked off Sam Lowe's?
Well, I think it's because Quattararo raced for that team in Moto2. So there's a bit of history. Obviously, different rider.
Oh, you say your opinion of him's going right down. My opinion of him's gone down a bit, but at the end of the day, it was an accident. It was a mistake.
Yeah.
But taking the positives from it, Alonso Lopez proved that he can ride a bike. You know what I mean? He's a good rider.
And he is very young.
I think Alonso Lopez would be. I think he would be naive and too hasty to leave Moto2 for MotoGP next year. I think he needs to stay in Moto2.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, Yamaha's in the position where they need a rider who's just desperate. Do you know the sort of rider that would go to Yamaha? Somebody that's just so desperate to get into MotoGP.
Jake Dixon.
How did
I know that was coming?
No, but it is the sort of rider that, I'm not saying the sort of rider Jake Dixon, but it's the sort of scenario where you could see somebody who.
Well, he's quite good mates with Quartararo, isn't he, as well? So I suppose it probably fit him quite well.
Somebody who just wants to go to MotoGP just to be there.
Yeah.
Like, I know everybody, whenever they get interviewed, they're all like, "Oh, I'm not just here to make up numbers. Oh, that's fine." But there's plenty of riders who step up and they know, I'm just here to make up numbers. Really, there's plenty of them. Like, come on, there is. Like, Jesus, come on.
Well, Jake Dixon is not one of them people.
You're not pulling.
He's not.
He is.
He's not.
No, he would be a MotoGP though.
Yeah, he
would be a MotoGP.
100%.
Especially if he went to Yamaha. Anyway, this is not part of the silly season because that's not going to happen. Silly season is about stuff that could actually happen.
Yes, but Alonso Lopez to Yamaha is a rumour that I heard a few months ago.
I don't think that'll happen.
Well, they've got to get somebody if they get rid of Morbidelli. Who would you have then?
Or if Morbidelli jumps.
Yeah.
I think, I know Jake Dixon finished higher than him, but after this week, I would have Alonso Lopez before I would have Jake Dixon.
There's about 5 or 6 riders I'd have before Jake Dixon.
Yeah, well, I want to.
Yeah, but then 5 or 6 riders are probably going to go to the likes of, like, one of them's definitely going to go to KTM.
Yes.
Pedro.
You say that. They had until today, wasn't it, to offer him a MotoGP
Yeah,
ride,
you mentioned something about this.
No, is it not the 23rd? Did they not have until the 23rd?
No, I think it's today, the 13th. No,
it was the 13th.
Sorry.
It was yesterday. It was yesterday, yeah.
Right, so they had a deadline to either offer him what? A position at KTM in MotoGP, or he can then look elsewhere.
Yeah, he can speak to other teams.
I think he should take Jack Miller's slot.
Well, he said his own words. I've lost it now. I thought I put it on the chat. Maybe it's in my notes. He said his words were, "I'm buying myself some time because I can't."
Oh yeah, he said something about wanting to go to Ducati, didn't he?
Well, he said that Ducati is the strongest package.
Yeah, well, it is, and he's not wrong.
But he says
it says here. So it says here, KTM admit that Pedro Costa could move to MotoGP in 2024, although remaining in Moto2 for another year is the Austrian manufacturer's preferred option. So after saying that Moto2 title rival Tony Arbolino opened a 25-point lead following Le Mans, Acosta once again showed why there's so much interest in him. He's dominated last week's race in Mugello. But yeah, Acosta has basically come out and said that he wants to go to MotoGP. That's what he prefers to do.
Yeah.
But I think if the right seat doesn't come available, he's also maybe not happy, but he would prefer to stay in Moto2 and wait for KTM to have him. Basically what he's saying is, in my opinion, he's not just go to Yamaha for the sake of it just to get into MotoGP.
No.
He's going to go to the right team.
Or he's not going... Like, he would be silly, really silly, to go to Honda. I know there was rumours about maybe go to Honda, but why would he go to Honda?
No.
If he was like, oh, Honda's offering me a seat in MotoGP, KTM will be like, but if you stay with us for another year, we'll then take you into MotoGP in 2025.
Yeah.
Surely you'd do that.
Yeah, it's the better option, because KTM...
So basically, I think, if you read between the lines, he's just said... If Ducati offer me a ride in MotoGP, I'll go to Ducati.
Yeah. Basically.
But if not, I'll stay at KTM for another year. Moto2. I think that's reading between the lines as to what they're talking about.
Yeah.
No, it'd be daft to go to Honda or Yamaha, really.
Yeah. So the next one?
Go on then.
Tony Arbolino to replace Didion Antonio at Gresini Ducati.
I think that'd be a really good move, actually.
I mean,
Who's
we're
for?
pretty sure that Didion Antonio's leaving because he is underperforming on that Ducati. It's the worst Ducati rider at the minute.
Is there talk about him going to Superbikes?
Yeah. I think we covered it last week. Wasn't he speaking to Kawasaki, Yamaha and Ducati, possibly?
Yeah, he was just speaking to everybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
He basically just put a tweet out saying, I want to ride for somebody somewhere.
As long as it's not Pachetti, you don't want to be there.
No.
The thing is, MotoGP has reached that stage, and it always does, where all the factory rides are taken, and they're going to be taken for a long time.
Yes.
And there's good riders coming in, and they've just got nowhere to go. It happened years ago because excuse me, happened years ago because whenever Johan Zarco come up, 2 times Moto2 winner, he had nowhere to go. He had to go to a satellite bike, so he went to the Tech 2 Yamaha. 2 times Moto2 winner should be walking into a factory ride, but all them old farts like Valentino Rossi wouldn't fucking move on and give him a seat.
Yes.
It's exactly what Marc Marquez is doing now. Get to fuck and give it to some other rider. Not that anybody would want to be in the Honda anyway.
Rossi the GOAT.
Marquez the GOAT.
Rossi
But yeah,
the GOAT.
there's more riders than seats is the problem.
Yes.
But I think it's going to shape up well for World Superbikes. I think there's going to be quite a few good riders heading there over the next couple of years.
They need a really talented rider to walk in there and take it to Bautista.
They really do, yeah.
But they need somebody else in that other Ducati.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's obviously a good rider. He's in a world championship. He's a good rider. But at this moment in time, the only person that can give Bautista any sort of race is the other Ducati rider.
Yeah.
So he needs. So for even Dorna and World Superbikes must be thinking, Jesus Christ, we need a bit more of a race here. Put somebody on that bike that can actually take it to Bautista. And they need somebody to come from MotoGP, a really good rider to come over.
Yeah.
Just who's it going to be?
Morbidelli.
Is DG Antonio that rider?
No, I don't think so. It'd be like Lecona. He'd be very average.
Lecona's
You think
rider.
You think Morbidelli would be that rider?
I think Morbidelli would do better than Didion Antonio.
The thing is, if you look at MotoGP, like if you go back and look at Bautista in MotoGP, he was average.
It was.
But then he wasn't on a factory bike. That's the argument. He was never on a factory bike because the factory bikes were taken up by Lorenzo, Pedrosa, Rossi, the aliens as they used to call them.
Yeah, well, Pedrosa's proof that he's still got it.
Yeah, he does, yeah. Of course he's still got it. Imagine if Pedrosa went to World Superbikes.
It'd be good, but that's not going to
be awesome. I think he could take it to fucking Bautista.
Oh no, he wouldn't. He would absolutely destroy Bautista. He's twice the rider Bautista is. If he was on the same bike as Bautista, he would absolutely destroy him. That's my opinion. If you want to argue that, fair enough. Fine. Right, what's he got here? Marquez. Honda is Plan A, suggesting there's a Plan B.
Yeah, apparently he said in an interview that Honda was his Plan A, which then they kind of picked up there was more than just one plan.
Well, yeah.
But it didn't really say where his Plan B is. But, as we discussed earlier, maybe Aprilia.
I think Aprilia is the best bet. Yeah. I honestly think Aprilia is where he's going to go. Not where he's going to go. I think it's where he should go. And I think Aprilia is the only team out there that would...
What, and swap out Aleix Espargaro?
Either two of them. Doesn't matter who. Marquez is better than both of them. I think Aprilia is the only manufacturer in MotoGP that will have their arms open and welcome Marquez. The rest of them will be about like, well, if we have to have you, I suppose.
Yes. But Aleix Espargaro is retiring either this season or next season, I think. He's pretty much come out and said that. He wants a testing role.
Well, there you go then. Could slot into there.
And Maverick Vinales, like, if my choice was Vinales or Marquez, I'd have Marquez any day.
Yeah. 100%.
I like Vinales, but he's just not good enough.
No,
exactly.
I agree with you. I agree with you. We all agree Marquez is better than Vinales.
Finally, we all agree on
Right,
something.
This next one, is this just something you've put in there, or have you heard
No,
a rumour about
this is what I heard, but there was no...
So where did you hear this at? Just some sort of random group chat?
It was on the weekend. I can't remember where I heard it or who from, but it was Zarco to World Superbikes. It doesn't say which team, but to be honest, at the start of the season I said Zarco's under pressure this year.
I can't see Zarco going to World Superbikes.
Yeah, but I can't see him staying in MotoGP. With all the riders that are coming up at the minute.
You've got that. Yeah, that's a good point.
If he doesn't start winning, they're going to want somebody else.
But the thing is, you talk about, like I said a couple of minutes ago, you talk about, are you there to win championships or are you there to make up numbers? Johan Zarco must start the year. Like, it's the start of the year, testing's done, the World Championship's starting, he's sitting eating his breakfast for the first time before the race or whatever he does. Do you think he's genuinely going to the line thinking, I can win this championship?
No.
Or is he going there thinking, get a ride a MotoGP bike, this is cool?
I think that's what he's doing.
Although,
yeah, but if he goes to World Superbikes, do you think he would go to the line thinking, I can win this championship?
Yes, I think he's what we were saying a few minutes ago on the other Ducati, taking it to Bautista. I think he could be the guy. Ducati
I don't think he will though.
But he's on a Ducati now. Yes. He's already on a Ducati.
I think that could be a very good shout, Zarco to replace Rinaldi.
That would give me a massive hard on.
Yeah, World Superbikes would be interesting again.
Yeah, I'd be well over that.
Yeah.
No, I like Zarco, and I like to see Zarco doing well. I want to see him winning championships. He's never going to win a MotoGP championship. I'm really sorry, Johan, but you're not.
No.
He could win a World Superbike championship.
Yes, I just want to see him win a race, to be honest, just to see the backflip.
And do a backflip. Could he even backflip now? Jesus. Be in a Zimmer frame the next time he does that.
Yes.
Yeah, so the next one we've already talked about it. KTM have until this month, yesterday, to offer Acosta a ride in MotoGP. Otherwise, he's free to talk to other teams, i.e. Ducati. But his priority is MotoGP in 2024, because he admits the Ducati package is currently stronger in KTM.
Yes. So yeah,
well, we've already discussed that.
So,
yeah, we covered that.
We kind of did all these out of order.
If Ducati do offer him something, KTM just have to offer him money, I suppose. Be like, well, financially we'll help you.
Yes. But then the other day on the Facebook group, I put a post on there saying if anybody's got any rumours that they've heard or anything they just want to make up, let us know. And we had one from Ryan Crowson. Is that how you say it? I'm guessing one of you two knows him.
Yeah. No.
Ash,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you not know him? Oh. Maybe he's...
We are transcending our friends. We are going global, people.
Yes, it's somebody we don't know. Well, hello, Ryan.
Hello.
Hello, Ryan. Thanks for getting in contact.
Yes.
Thank you.
He says, one I originally heard but thought was BS, but starting to think it could happen. Honda to give Mir the boot and go all in on Mark and Acosta. And another one is Scott Redding going to Moto America.
First of all, I like the use of the term BS, because that kind of ties into our show a little bit. Thank you, Ryan Crowson, for picking up on that.
Yep, Sam is hard.
I think I am. I think the idea of Honda going all in on Mark and Acosta, I've already mentioned this. I think Acosta would be absolutely brain dead to go to Honda at the minute.
Yeah.
It would be a really good team if they had a really good bike, but I can't see that happening. But I am very excited about the idea of Scott Redding going to Moto America.
That would be class.
But where else is he going to go? Where's Scott Redding's done British Superbikes? He'd go back to British Superbikes, but why would he? He's already done it.
Yeah.
He's done World Superbikes. He's going backwards in World Superbikes. He's done MotoGP. He had a fairly mediocre time in MotoGP. He did all right. He didn't do great. But Moto America... Daniela Petruccia was in Moto America. Was it last year, the year before?
Yeah.
And he came second. He very nearly won it.
I think Redding would smash that championship.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd be another... I think that'd be a very good shout. I hope that does happen.
He'd walk in there, he'd be racing against Jet Gagne, and what's the other guy called?
Oh, the one who's in Moto 2.
No, that's Bo Ben Snyder. There's another one.
No, not Bo Ben Snyder.
There's another one who moved back from Moto 2. What's his name?
I know the one you're thinking of. Cambobier.
Cambobier, that's it. He's basically racing against Jet. He's racing against Jet Gagne and Cambobier. That's who he's racing against.
Yeah, he would smash them.
I think he would, yeah.
Yeah.
But then what? Excuse me, I'm going all burp because I'm drunk. Then what does he do? He wins Moto America. What does Scott Redden do then? Go back to World Superbikes?
Retire.
PSP or do like endurance or something like that, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Test rider.
Test rider somewhere.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that insight, Brian.
Yeah. That's,
right. I am well aware that we are well over 2 hours now, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got a lot of editing. But yeah, we are well over 2 hours. This is probably our longest ever episode.
Well, that's because we've got some involvement from the listeners, and thanks very much for getting involved, because it means we can do a better show.
Well, our trip to Knockhill is around 3 hours, so if we make it around 3 hours, it's alright. Just listen to it on the way back.
It's not going to be 3 hours, Jesus Christ.
Only the end.
So we have some questions this year. I am drunk.
This year.
We have some questions this episode. So both questions are from Harvey. Thanks for getting in touch, mate. Thanks for keep giving us content to talk about. Right, the first question, do you want me to read it out?
Go on.
Go for it, yeah.
If you can.
It's a good job I've proofread this a little bit because I am a little bit pissed. Do you prefer the aggressive nature of Knockhill to circuits where riders have a small chance to have a break? Racers use long-ish straights to have a breather, despite still being at full throttle, whereas at Knockhill there is zero chance to catch your breath. Even the start and finish is a huge jump into a tight right-hander, constantly switching riding position every few seconds, etc. This obviously has a knock-on effect, causing more crashes through rider fatigue, etc. So I think what he's asking is, do you prefer the tight, bendy, tight races, or the races that give the bikes the opportunity to open up and stretch a lead?
I like the tight, bendy, twisty ones.
Yeah, I do as well. Knockhill is such a good circuit. It's probably my second favourite on the calendar. It's so good because as you say, start finish straight, it kind of goes over like a crest, and then you're at the first corner, and then there's a couple where it's like going uphill and you can't see the corner that you're about to turn into, so you've got to sort of do it blind and just have faith in what your bike's doing. It's such a brilliant track, and also you've got the hairpin on the last corner where pretty much all the action happens, all the overtaking, and that's where everybody stands. It's such a good track. I love Knockhill.
I can't wait.
It's such a great track. But yeah, I prefer aggressive sort of natured tracks like that.
Yeah.
If I'm going to watch a race, like if I'm going to watch it live, I like a long straight. I like it. I don't like seeing bikes going slow. I know it adds tight racing, and I know you get to see more of the riders and more of the bikes, and you get to see them passing each other, but I ultimately just want to see bikes going fast. So I like long straights. I do.
I don't dislike them. I just prefer the twisties.
Even when I go road racing, I want, like, people are like, oh, stand at this corner because they go slow and you can see them passing.
Yeah.
This is always where people pass, and nobody says it, but they're thinking if somebody's going to crash, this is where it's going to be. And it's like, no, I don't want to see that. I want to see them going fast. I want to see fucking balls to the wall, full throttle. I want to see bikes going fast. I like
18,000 RPM in sixth gear.
I know.
Screaming past.
I know it allows the opportunity for the faster bikes to end up stretching the lead, but that's like, it's different watching it on TV and watching it live. But whenever I'm watching it live, I like a long straight. I want to see them going fast. That's why I go. That's why I go and watch bikes.
Yes.
Right, he's got a second question. Harvey has sent us a second question. He says, or he asks, it's a huge task to undertake, but would you be interested in seeing any circuits run backwards? There's a lot of work to go into crash barriers and access points, etc., as they're mostly designed for the circuit to flow one way. But if you could see any circuit run the opposite direction for a BSB meeting, what circuit would it be and why?
Now, I've had a think about this since obviously we spoke about it.
Yeah, because you just went, oh, fucking shite,
Shut up. Right. Can you imagine Cadwell Park backwards?
What, the mountain backwards?
Mountain backwards. Everyone flying into that corner, just like, holy shit.
Well, as soon as I read this question earlier today, because that's what I do, Ash, I read the doc before we actually start recording. So when I read the question earlier today, the first thing I did is I went straight onto YouTube and I just YouTubed Cadwell Park, and I watched him going over that jump. And
the mountain.
Imagine that going the opposite direction.
I know.
Because I still think they would jump. I still think they would come off the ground.
I think there'd be a lot of crashing in that corner.
Yeah, there would. That would be lethal, man.
But I thought about earlier on in the year when I was at Silverstone, and I was sitting at, is it Cops Corner? Is that what it's called? Cops Corner? And obviously, if you're sitting there, you look to the right, it's where the start and finish is, and you can't see as much to your right, so you almost see it at the last second where they come round the corner, but then when they pass you can see loads of them going the other way.
Yeah.
And I thought, if they were going in the opposite direction, you would see a lot more of them coming towards you.
Yes.
And then going round the corner, which I think would be better.
Have you ever been to Cadwell Park, Sam?
No, never been to Cadwell
So
Park.
when you go, if you get a chance to go and you do a track walk, when you come up to the mountain, like obviously you see it on TV and you think, yeah, that's a pretty big freaking hill. But when you actually stood there at the bottom of it looking up, you're like, Jesus Christ, like it looks so much bigger in real life.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the other one I thought about was is it Donington Park? Because you see the Craner curves whenever they come down the Craner curves, and obviously they talk about it. I was watching Johnny Ray doing an interview, and he's talking about how you had it perfect and you come down, and how every one corner flows into the next. And if you go in the opposite direction, every corner is going to be a bit different. Plus, you're going to be going uphill. I just thought how about that would change it. And I'm not sure entirely, but I think Donington Park is mostly a right-hand sort of course.
Yeah.
So it would just change it to a left-hand course and just see how that would affect tyre manufacturers and stuff. So I'd like to see that. But ultimately, to be honest, I think it would be class if you could get every race to run forwards and then run backwards, because it just gives you more scope to have more races.
Yeah.
I used to love it playing Gran Turismo. I know I'm going off topic, but whenever we played Gran Turismo and you would get a track and you could do it backwards, and it was so hard.
Yeah.
Like you would know a track so well, and you would think, oh, I smashed this track, and then you do it backwards and you're like, I don't fucking clue where I'm going.
Yes. But I was thinking back to Knockhill, if you did that in reverse, the first corner is a tight hairpin, that would be carnage. That would be absolute carnage on the first lap.
But I was Googling this earlier, and apparently in 2014 they were thinking about running Knockhill backwards.
I've done it on PlayStation, but I've never seen it
But
in real life.
BSB in 2014 were thinking about running Knockhill backwards, so they've obviously thought about it for Knockhill.
I think that would be lethal. That first, it's a hairpin, like quite a tight hairpin, and it goes downhill if you're doing it backwards, off camber.
But if that's the first hairpin, is that towards the start of the lap?
Well, if it was running backwards, it'd be the first corner.
Oh, right.
So they'll all just bunch up.
Yeah. I think it'd be lethal, but
where I'm from, there's a motorbike race around my village, as I've mentioned to you hundreds of times, called the Midhunter 150. But the first corner in it is a hairpin, goes round the church. So where I lived in this little estate. I'm not going to mention it. I lived in this little estate, and there was a park on one side, and then my house was on the other side. And we used to stand in the park. We'd watch all the bikes take off, and we'd sprint through the park across the estate to where my house was, and then they would go round the hairpin in the first corner, and then we'd watch them all come whizzing down the road again. It was class. People that know road racing will know exactly the course I'm talking about, and they'll know where I live. There you go.
Yes.
But that was all the questions we had.
He did. He also got the Who Am I right as well. Harvey did. I can't remember.
Yeah, I
if we
mentioned that earlier.
Did you?
Harvey and Babsy both got it.
Yes.
So, and can I just say that Babsy is actually a follower of Charlie Nesbitt, which I didn't know. So
there you go.
There you go.
That's why Babsy got it. Mike.
So before we finish, we've got the predictions for this weekend.
I'm the only one that filled them in.
Well, I've memorised mine.
Right.
Oh, you are so predictable, Ash. You are so predictable. With your
hold on a
guesses.
minute. So we just had 20 minutes ago. Oh, you always pick these riders.
And you've done it again. You've picked the same riders again. You have.
No, I didn't pick.
MotoGP and Moto2 are different, but Moto3 and the BSB, they're exactly what I'd have expected you to pick.
Well, MotoGP, I'm having Pecco Bagnaia. Moto2, Tony Arbolino. Moto3,
Who says you get to go first?
Because I'm going first. Moto3, Suzuki. And in the BSB, Kyle Ryde will win all of them.
No. You think Kyle Ryde's going to do the triple?
Yeah.
I bet you a tenner he doesn't.
I'm not betting you money.
Take it, Ash.
No.
Take it, Ash.
I would love Charlie to win them all, but it's just not going to happen. I don't think.
A triple? It's a big ask, that.
I'm going for a triple. Kyle Ryde.
What's your prediction, Sam?
For BSB, honestly, it could be anybody. You know what BSB's like. I think Tommy Bridewell won one.
I hope so.
I think Glenn Irwin will win one. And I think Kyle Ryde will win one. I'm going for, that's the three I'm going for. I don't know who's going to win the sprint, race 1 or race 2. I just have the three of them win a race.
So
for MotoGP, I'm going to stick with him again this week. I'm going to say Marc Marquez because it's a Sachsenring. It's like you said, if he can't win the Sachsenring, he's never going to win a race. Moto2, I really want to say Sam Lowes again, but I think Acosta's going to take it. I think Acosta will take it. And Moto3,
I know he's going to go.
I'm going to go Holgado.
I was going to go.
I knew it was. So Chippy's going to have to go on to now.
No, I'm not going to go on to. I'm going to go with MotoGP. I was going to go with Marc Marquez. I'm going to go Jorge Martin.
My other choice would have been Bezzecchi.
Nah.
No, Bezzecchi doesn't win races. He's just consistent.
Yes, it's John Mir. Moto2, I'm going to go with Sam Lowes. Although I could see
tempted with Sam Lowes.
I could see Jake Dixon getting his win, but I'm not going to pick him. I'm going to go with Sam Lowes.
Wise up, Jake Dixon. Jake Dixon get a podium. Jake Dixon get a podium this weekend. That means he's going to crash next weekend.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
No, but the only reason I was thinking that was because it's tight and twisty a track. British rider might do better there, but I'm still going to go with Sam Lowes. Moto3, I was going to go with Holgado.
Anna Cross
Kelso.
I think
Kelso's going to win. Joe Kelso.
No, he won't be. He won't have his glasses on.
I'm going to go with Jaume Masia.
I'd love it if Joe Kelso.
Oh, Masia. Yeah, that's not a bad show actually for Masia.
Yeah.
Got the fastest lap in that Moto3 race.
Spanish McPhee.
Yeah.
And BSB, see, I'd have traditionally, obviously, the Scottish riders do well. So Taz McKenzie, but obviously he's not there. Rory Skinner, he's not there. They always do well. So I'm going to go with Jason O'Halloran. Probably Kyle Ryde. And I think Danny Buchan will get a podium. Maybe 2, because he always goes really well around there for some reason. So that's my predictions.
Kyle Ryde for the triple.
No.
Just lazy ass. You just pick someone in.
When we go to Knockhill, Chippy, you know when they're doing their qualifying, will it be like the thing with the music?
No, I don't think it's not that sort of qualifying. It's just
that's a shame.
I think. I'm pretty sure that was just a one-off. It might be, but I'm pretty sure that was just a one-off.
I hope it is, because that looked really cool.
Because they did it last season at Cadwell. Just Cadwell.
No, I think they only do that every now and again. I'm not sure when they do it.
They should do it every time.
They haven't. No, they haven't done it all season. I think they only do it every now and again.
Just go out, do your lap. That's it.
But I think a lot of riders and a lot of teams would just disagree with it and not want it to happen all the time.
Yeah. But that's it.
Cool. That's it.
Yeah. Nothing else to talk about. So nothing else to do but plug the socials. So if you would like to get in contact with us, you can send us an email at podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk. If you want to, you can watch this show or listen to this show on YouTube. It's the Big Bad Bike Show on YouTube. You can contact us at Twitter at the Big Bad BS. We are endeavouring to put more on our social media. We're also, we will be on Instagram soon. We have a Big Bad Bike Show Instagram page, but it's kind of redundant at the minute, and we will be creating a new one. On Facebook, we are the Big Bad Bike Show, but we've also got a group which is called the Big Bad BS, and that is where most of our traffic comes from. So if you want to stay in touch with us, it's the best place to go to. My Twitter is @SoberGasano. Ash is on Instagram, the Up North Biker, and Chippy is on Instagram. It's @C_Ballard90. Chippy is open for a new Instagram name. He just needs people to give him
I need
options.
a good one.
So if you've got an idea of a good name for Chippy on Instagram, obviously it can't be Filth. Harvey and King Robbo, I know you're thinking Filth. it can't be Filth. It needs to be something they can actually put on Twitter. Get in touch with what you think. But that's it. So
that is it.
Nothing else to do, nothing else to say. Hope you had a good week. Hope you enjoyed listening to it. It's a goodbye from Ash.
Sayonara.
It's a goodbye from Chippy.
Goodbye.
And it's a goodbye from me. Thanks very much for listening. Bye bye.
Ta-ta, farewell.